Hi!
Hey everybody!
How's it going? Welcome. Why don't you guys just take a load off and set a spell?
Yeah, come sit by the fire.
Because tonight is Wildcards by the Campfire.
So, okay.
Yeah.
The phrase set a spell. First time I ever encountered it was in Link's Awakening.
Okay.
When there is the character Terran, who is like the dad who finds you on the beach.
Yeah, he's the Marin of that game.
Yeah, there's Marin and Terran.
Right.
And he's the dad. And he turns into a raccoon by accident. And you have to get the magic powder and turn him back to a human. And then he says, "Oh, I think I'll set a spell here." And I was like, what spell did he set? And I like searched around the screen for like an hour trying to find if there was like a secret magic thing that had happened.
I think I've heard that is sit a spell, not set a spell.
But
I mean, I guess
it's both.
I didn't know spell was like a short amount of time.
Sure.
I just thought of it as a magic thing. But I've definitely heard
you raise a good
set
point.
A spell.
I did not mean a magical spell. I meant, why don't you come here and sit for a period of time near this fire with us?
Okay, that was my roundabout way of asking you to clarify that.
There we go.
Thank you.
So welcome, guys. It's Friday night on Saving Throw, and Wildcards is on hiatus, but we are here to have a chat back after the end of Season 3 and our ridiculous Prickly Tall Stag and the Danger Seekers Come a Pairs game last week. We thought we would just kind of have a nice, relaxing evening to talk with you guys and with each other and answer some of your questions about Wildcards. So my name is Jordan Caves-callarman. I am the Marshal of Wildcards. And let's have everybody introduce themselves real quick, and we'll start here.
Hey guys, my name is Zook. I play James Bogue in the television show series Wildcards on CBS.
CBS. This is not.
Sorry guys, it's
15 seasons running.
Yeah, it's been running for 15
Not CBS.
seasons.
Yep.
Network. We got network monies.
Several spin-offs.
Several
Wildcards
spin-offs.
New Orleans.
Yep.
I mean,
Guys, it's all about the spin-offs.
Baby Wildcards. The Muppet Babies of the Wildcards averse.
that's the cartoon version.
And yeah, that's it. And Grav, you get Peter Buxton's Q and a reroll.
I get his cue?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get his question.
Baby
Oh, question. I thought it meant. Never mind. Wow, thank you.
Cute from Star Trek.
I will take it. Thank you very much, Peter Buxton. And also, I am Gaurav Gulati, and I play Howell Melton on the TV show Wildcards, and that's on HBO. It's
thank you.
Wildcards Nights, yes. Yes, DJ Regular. Just like Baywatch
Wildcards
Nights.
yeah. After CBS sold it to HBO in a stupid, bumbling move, we bought it and made it a much better show. So I play Howell Melton, and I'm also the supervising producer, obviously, on HBO. So
There he is.
that's me.
You heard it here first. And then over here.
Hi, I'm Meghan Caves, and I play Rosaline Byrne, and I own HBO. I got one of them.
Way to
I think
escalate
that's
that.
all.
I can't wait for Jordan to get on top of this.
I don't know what to do now.
Gotta go
Let's
ahead.
keep doing it.
But yeah, I'm the huckster. What else should I say? That's mostly it.
You can say your name, the name of your character.
I said Rosaline Byrne. Rosaline
say
Saoirse Byrne. She's Irish. She's from Boston and Dublin.
All
Dublin and
questions
Boston.
answered now for Rose.
There we go.
That's it. That's all you need to know about Rose.
Yep. Okay, hi, my name is Jordan Pridgeon. I was once arrested outside of the Wildcard studio trying to break into Dumb Zook's trailer, and it was just kind of fate after that.
Yeah.
It's easy to
So-
break in on CBS lots. So
Yeah.
that's why.
HBO. If we had been on
Radford
HBO at
lot,
that
not
point,
good.
you wouldn't have.
I told them I was Shonda Rhimes, and they were like, "You're in."
You're in.
They didn't check IDs, weirdly enough.
No.
Yeah, so hey, I'm actually Jordan Pridgeon, and hello.
Hi. Yeah, so with those super normal introductions out of the way, here's what we're going to do tonight. We posted a link to a question form earlier in the week that people have been submitting questions to. So we are going to work our way through answering those questions, and then, time permitting, we will take some live questions from you guys in chat. Also, as a fun little extra thing, if you don't know, if you're new to Saving Throw, welcome. We are an independent channel. We run all of this stuff under our own steam, and largely through the support of viewers like you. So thank you guys for being here.
If this is your first show, this might be kind of a misleading first show.
Yeah, it's not normally like this. Normally we play games, but this is just a show where we talk about a game that we play. But if you enjoy what we do here, if you want to support us, if you want us to keep going, if you want us to come back for Season 4 of Wildcards, please feel free to tip. It really means a lot to us. It helps us keep everything going. If you can't tip, we still appreciate you being here. We're just happy to have you here. And also, you can sub to the channel as well. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you get a free Twitch sub every month, so you can do that here. Is the Amazon Prime bit steal still happening?
I think it is.
I think there's still a bit steal happening as well. I think for 99 cents you can get 500 bits if you're an Amazon
really
Prime
good deal,
member. So it's
yeah.
basically like
That's
getting
like free money.
$4.01.
It's free real estate.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for being here. We do have some fun tier rewards tonight as well that are in the process of being unlocked. Before we get started, we should say a big thank you to Infamous King Cupcake for the resub.
Yeah.
Double Up Omega, thank you for the tip.
Yeah.
Peter Buxton, thank you for the resub. Historian of Nukes, thank you for the tip. BSB Care, thank you for the tip. And Vampire 4, thank you for the resub.
You know what sounds awesome in microphones? Clapping right next to
Thanks to a microphone. So what do you say, guys? Should we get started with some questions?
Yeah.
Well,
Sure.
let's do it. We have a couple of toasts.
Oh, we have some toast.
toasty
Oh, that's right.
time.
Toast are on the table.
So
yes.
raise your glass.
Oh, you're going to lead the toast.
It's weird watching
man.
ourselves on a screen in
is.
30-second delay.
Don't do
Yeah.
it.
Historian of Nukes says, to Alexander and Molly, when a -4 and a +4 charisma meet.
To Alexander and Molly, when a -4 and a +4 charisma meet. Set him up and knock him down. I assume that is from Historian of Nuke's home game.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
Double Up Omega, thank you so much.
Thanks,
Dr.
man.
Bo, good to see you.
Dr. 42.
Bo.
Good to see you, sir.
It's a good solid number.
Another toast?
Yes, BSB Care says, to grading? Sometimes I wonder if students even listen to me.
Oh, because he's teaching.
Yeah.
There's a lot of periods after that, though. So
Okay.
You kind of have to wistfully.
To grading.
To grading.
Grading.
Sometimes I wonder if students even listen to me.
Enter.
Set him up and knock him
You
down.
didn't cheers me. Oh.
Is that it? Is there another one?
No.
All right.
But
Yep.
Double Up Omega resubscribed and gets rerolls for everyone in season 4. All four players.
Okay.
I
We
guess.
should write these
I'm
things
going
down.
Tier 3.
Whoa!
And
Thank
Vampire
you.
54 gives me their resub reroll for season 4.
Okay,
Nice.
hold on.
Oh, nice.
Hold on. Let me
I'm a
write
tier
these down.
2 sub, but it was a mistake.
Nice.
You haven't corrected it.
But now
So-
you get 2 rerolls.
I do.
One for everyone from Double Up Omega,
Yep.
and one for you from Vampire 54.
Yes.
You had one from Peter Buxton, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, to me, yes.
Okay.
And then we also unlocked the first tier, so that's one more. for
Well, we've
everybody.
unlocked the first 2
One for
tiers.
Garel for Peter Buxton.
Aye.
Wow. Okay. So we're starting next season already.
Starting strong, baby.
One for James from Vampire 54. Okay.
I'm very tall.
And then we. So what tiers did we unlock so far?
We unlock starting strong.
Okay. So
Remember?
everybody starts with one piece of Cursed Banished Gold
Yep.
next season.
Yeah.
Questions. The marshal must honestly answer 3 questions from the cast with a yes or no.
So
Oh, is this a tier?
this is a tier.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put those tokens out here. You guys have the ability, I'll say, to ask these at any point tonight.
Okay.
Any point?
Any point.
Oh,
Thank you guys. That's awesome.
Thank you guys.
put my microphone on. Thanks for
If you
coming.
guys have any
Yeah.
good ideas for questions for us to ask him, shout them out. Maybe we'll see them.
I feel like we should ask questions that'll like build rifts in the group, you know?
Yeah, that's good.
Who's your favorite? Like, let's make drama.
All right, we ready, guys? Let's get started.
Yeah.
So this very first question comes from Historian of Nukes.
Oh.
Ooh.
And,
Historian of Nukes.
It's largely a question for me. The question is Tortlaw ever going to come back as an NPC or by other means? And the short answer is no. Tortlaw's part in this story has concluded. I wouldn't want to utilize Tortlaw without the player who played Tortlaw. And so in my mind, Tortlaw has moved on to other things and is doing her own thing with her people. So that is the answer to that question. That one's pretty easy.
Don't go. What do
go
you mean? Don't
fawn
go,
on these
Ava?
questions.
Yeah, I don't know what Ava did with questions.
Yeah.
No.
What would Ava do?
I purposely goofed mine, but I don't know what Ava did.
Can I go swole on questions?
Yeah, I like that.
Right, ready for the next question?
Yes.
Ew.
This is from an anonymous person.
What? Why?
If you're in chat, let us know who you are so that we can ridicule you.
Yeah, we really want to ridicule you, so
We're
please
mean.
let us know.
We're real mean.
The question is, why cursed Spanish gold? Isn't that a pirate thing?
Oh, I did wonder this because
Oh,
I
that is
came
a
in
good
late
question,
and it was
yeah.
already a thing.
It is a pirate thing, yes, I would say. But also, I imagine there are, correct me if I'm wrong, but there are a few Western films that are about tracking down Spanish gold, like buried treasure.
Yeah,
In the form
sure.
of like gold that like the Mexican army buried, or I'm thinking like conquistador Spanish.
Yeah.
Like it's. To me, it made sense because it didn't feel like anything would be cursed that was like really recent. Like it's not like cursed Confederate script, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so I wanted it to be something like a little bit old. Yeah, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly had buried treasure in it, but that
Yeah.
wasn't gold.
It wasn't.
I
It
don't think.
wasn't
That was,
cursed Spanish gold.
right.
Well, it
Treasure
was
of
gold.
Sierra Madre. Did that one have gold?
That was also gold, but but I don't. I mean, it wasn't like Spanish gold, but yes, it was.
It kind of makes sense though because
It made sense to me. Yeah.
yeah.
But yes, you are right in saying it does sound like a pirate thing, but I also think it sounds like an Old West thing too, especially a supernatural Old West thing, which was the point. Yes. I can't see who said that because the font is really
BSB
weird.
Care? Wait.
BSB Care says is
Spain and Mexico did hold a
Oh.
large portion of the North American continent. Yes,
Yeah, that's-
and that was
that's
the idea.
mace.
Big
That's
care.
mace.
It's my mace.
And yeah,
Oh, yes.
Treasure of the Sierra
For
Madre.
some reason, the
was
color of their name makes it really hard to read on the screen.
Was about gold.
Well,
yeah.
you can look at it on your computer.
Yeah.
So
we
yeah,
did that.
that is the answer to that question.
Nice.
Next question. This one comes from. Oh no, I'm gonna skip that one because this is just a goof question from definitely not Gaurav.
You should just read it. Just read it once.
All right, we'll just read it. We'll just read it real quick because
Gaurav?
Gaurav took the time to put it in there. In episode 2F09, when Itchy plays Scratchy Skeleton like a xylophone, he strikes the same rib twice in succession, yet he produces two clearly different tones. I mean, what are we to believe? That this is some sort of a magic xylophone or something? Boy, I really hope somebody got fired for that blunder. It's a great Simpsons reference.
One person out there will get
Oh,
that reference.
I didn't.
Two,
I haven't
three.
seen the Simpsons.
It's so good.
And that one comes from definitely not Gaurav. And I don't think we need to dignify that with a response.
No. Just Google it.
Google it.
You can see the scene in Simpsons.
Yeah.
All right, this one comes from DJ Regular. And this is a question for Megan and Jordan Pridgeon.
Oh.
On the spot.
Your characters have probably had the most dramatic journey among the whole cast, both starting the game seemingly fully in control and super cynical of the world around them. Now they've both had their worlds upended, with Rose in particular acknowledging that she's sort of become what it is she hated in the first place. Do Gabe and Rose know where they want to go from here, or how they want to change?
Well, so I guess that question: do Gabe and Rose know, or does Megan and Jordan know? It's kind of two different things. So
Very,
Yeah.
difficult question in
Yeah.
some ways.
I mean, I would say it's a little bit of both, maybe.
I mean, I think personally, Rose is still kind of fighting everything. In my mind, there has to be some big emotional or climactic or some big moment that makes her see things clearly. She doesn't want to face it. She wants to run away from it, and she's conflicted because there's a part of her that sees that she's doing that, but there's another part of her that goes no, because she's kind of naive. Her whole thing, if you've read my wiki, actually, the Rosaline's wiki, I talk a little bit about that.
it's fairly extensive.
By the way, we have a wiki.
We have a wiki.
Check out our wiki.
It's in the, check it out, eventually. Yeah, she kind of, you know how kids can, when you're a kid, in a lot of ways things are easier. It's easy to look out into the world and go, well, I could do that better. And I very much think of Rose like that. And I think that she kind of took an idealistic view of things, and she did a lot of the things that she hated. She saw her family be shit on by rich people, basically. So her whole thing was, I can do rich better than those people. And she's kind of hurting people in the way that the rich people did to her family. She's just not wanting to acknowledge that. And then, of course, there's a whole lot more to it. I mean, I think of her as as not being particularly religious or superstitious, but she came from a very superstitious family. So it's one of those things where it's sort of in her background, but she didn't quite believe it, just seemed like something that her parents believed. And now all of a sudden she's faced with all of this, and she's faced with all these huge things, and Gabe has done a complete 180 in her mind, that he's gone from not believing any of that to having powers, and it's just, all of it is too much, and she doesn't want to deal with it. She wants to try to force everything to be simple again, and you can't do that. So to me, it's one of those things where she's going to fight it for as long as she can. That's sort of my thought process, at least for Rose. As far as Rose and Gabe goes, that's some of the conflict as well.
Because Picard says, just puppet everyone who doesn't listen to you. Rich people don't do that.
It's the way to do it. It's the way to do it.
And what about Gabe?
Well, I would say, so we spend a lot of time thinking about this.
That's very true.
It's fun.
I mean, Megan and I will sometimes too just like go on our like Slack channel and just like chat about like what we're trying to like do with our characters and stuff. The way I kind of feel it is I was not 100% sure where I wanted to go with Gabe this season. But I kind of like that. It was sort of fun to take a character who had been such a confident, never think twice about it character and have him suddenly completely rug pulled out from under him. And that was really kind of fun to play this season. And I think I know, and I think Gabe now kind of has more of a purpose in what they're doing. And the tough part was like figuring out how much of the old him still stuck around, and like, because I didn't want, and Gabe didn't want, I say as though we're different people, but both of them didn't want to lose the old elements of the character.
Marshall didn't want that either.
Sure.
And I'll say that as if I'm a different character too.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, like, Gabe didn't like, oh my God, there's an almighty character. I guess I should never lie or con anyone out of things again, because he still pretty heavily holds that a lot of the people who he cons deserve it. And probably most people deserve it on some level. But I think that even through kind of, especially through season 2 as it went on, Gabe sort of started yearning to try and be someone who is helping people in more of a sense, just a bit. I think I remember, I've mentioned it before, but I think it was something of a turning point for him when he had to do the fake ceremony over the
Charlie Shadow's
bodies
family.
Of Charlie Shadow's family.
Yeah.
Because he was just like, oh, this does matter to people.
Yeah.
And it felt wrong to him. And I think that this season has been him finding the balance between actually doing good in this force that he knows is real and he knows is something that needs to be fought against, and also doing it, the Gabe way, where he doesn't particularly follow rules because people told him to. And
yeah, actually, I think it's interesting because we kind of talked about this more in the beginning, that Rose is a little bit of a better person than Gabriel, just as far as where they fell on the moral spectrum. Mm-hmm. And I think it's interesting because he's essentially becoming more who she wants to be, and she's fighting that, which is kind of this contradiction of just essentially fighting change. And I think that's kind of an interesting dynamic that's come up, because he's going through this whole process, and she's kind of going off, at least this past season, kind of went off the other direction and kind of got worse in reaction to it, which of course caused a huge rift between them, which was really tough to play, actually. It was fun, but it was hard. I don't know, I felt mean half the time.
We'll circle back to that, I think, in a bit. Thank you guys. And then also, again, if you're just tuning in, if you have questions that you want to ask us, wait until we're going to first move through these questions that were submitted before the show, and then we'll have some time to answer questions from chat.
I'm copying them down.
You're copying them down? Okay, good, because there was one question.
Yeah, Dr. Bo had one.
We'll
get to it.
We got you, Dr. Bo.
All right, so next question is for everybody.
Okay.
And this is from Gunslinger Andy. Gunslinger Andy wants to know, what is each cast and crew members, including Tyler, behind the scenes? But Tyler is not here behind the scenes tonight, so I guess you just have to hear it from us, Gunslinger Andy. What is everyone's favorite Western? Which I think we might have touched on before.
A long time ago.
Let's revisit it. And I'll start over here, because I know Dom knows his way around a Western or two.
You know, I can't remember what I said last time, so I'll probably say something different this
Contradict
time.
yourself.
Yeah.
I'm going to call you on.
There's so many different types of westerns that I have different types of favorites.
I was also going to list.
Yeah. I love.
What is it? What is it?
Tombstone's great. Tombstone's a lot of fun.
Tombstone's great.
It's just, I mean, it's just kind of a fun, goofy Western thing. So Tombstone's great. Magnificent Seven.
The new or the old one?
The old one.
Oh.
I haven't listened to that one.
Yeah,
So-
the old one is bad. The new one is not bad. The new one is not bad, but the old one has a special place in my heart. How the West Was Won is a good one. The Wild Bunch. Okay, I could keep naming ones that I really enjoy, but
3 hours later.
Yeah.
We love you too, Average Human. He said, I love all of you guys.
We love you.
We love you,
I
Average
love
Human.
all you guys.
Also,
We
if
do.
we could copy the question from Vampire 54 as well.
I'm doing that. Yeah.
Thank you.
He's
all
on
right,
that.
so that's Dom's. Dom's answer is all of them.
Pretty much.
How about you, Gruff? Do you have a favorite Western?
Yes, it is Back to the Future 3.
Oh,
I will count that. I
think it
will count
counts.
that.
That's a Western. It's
Largely
totally
a Western.
It's got that train.
Yeah,
so good.
There's a train
all
in it.
right.
I didn't even know it's a Western. We have two
wait.
trains, so we're double
Yeah.
Western.
It only you have to only have a train to be a Western. This is like okay.
This
I'm
true.
gonna take. I'm
This
gonna.
true.
All right, well, Megan,
You're
with
gonna
that,
come over and watch westerns, and I'm just gonna find train movies. And you're gonna have
Strangers
to be
on a
like,
Train.
This is a western.
classic Hitchcock Western.
It's a bit. You have to keep to it.
All my favorite Westerns have train scenes, which I'll explain.
Megan, how about you?
Mine is Tombstone, straight up Tombstone. And
Tombstone is
actually,
very good.
I think we talked about this, but I thought of, I don't know that we talked about this, but I thought of Doc Holliday and Kate, I think is her name, sort of inspired these characters for me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, I'm gonna break down into three eras of Western because it's very different. My favorite modern Western and my favorite movie of all time is The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford, which is slower and more artistic.
It's scenery porn. Is
I
what it is.
love it. I also think it's an amazing examination of obsession and the development of celebrity in the American mindset. Every time I watch it, I get more out of it, and I just think it's beautifully done and fantastically willing to be slow and well felt out. And then so my favorite Western of the spaghetti Western era, which is sort of a resurgence of Westerns and sort of a reaction to original Westerns, is Sergio Leone's Duck You Sucker, which was not his most well known because he kind of went in a weirder direction than he had in all of his others, and I just think it's hilarious and awesome, but also has some amazing pathos and real moments. And my first Saving Throw show character was based on the main character of Duck You Sucker, very clearly if you've seen the movie. Sean knew what I was talking about. And then my favorite classic Western is probably The Searchers, which I think is just really solid.
We need to take a weekend and go to out to the desert in a cabin and just watch all these Western
so
movies.
cool.
That would be fun.
That'd be
We should
so great.
do
I
that.
love that.
All right. I'm going to write that down. I'm not really.
Write it down.
We know we want to do it. We know that's the plan.
My favorite Western. I have a couple. The one that I know it's ridiculous. I know it's silly.
It is.
I love
It
The
is.
Quick and the Dead.
Oh, yeah.
I think The Quick and the Dead
rocks.
is a lot of fun.
You weren't. We rewatched it not too long ago though, and I was like,
I still enjoy
Warts
the hell out
warts
of it.
and all. I enjoy that film.
you saw it for the first time then, right?
I saw almost
Where the
all
fuck
of
were
it. Yeah,
you?
I only saw an hour of it.
It was the four of us.
I also really like the original Magnificent Seven, and I like the new Magnificent Seven.
You didn't
as well.
hear it though.
I hadn't seen it
watched
before.
Oh, you'd seen it before.
Yeah.
We watched it at my dad's, and he had it on 2 volume, and we were like,
He's an old person who watches TV with no volume.
It was
on.
weird.
See, I think old people watch it with super high.
Yeah,
That's my
it goes back and
grandfather.
forth. It goes back and forth.
He's in a
One or
year.
the other.
We're getting past this.
Yeah. So I actually like both versions of the Magnificent Seven. I think they're both really fun, really good movies.
Maverick.
And Tombstone is.
I remember Maverick.
Tombstone is just a real.
It's
Like
so
there's
good.
so many awesome.
Val
moments.
Kilmer is so good. in that.
It's
Oh
Val
my
Kilmer's
fucking God.
probably Val Kilmer's best role.
Yes, that or Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Also, I'm glad DJ Regular has seen Duck You Sucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
And I will say though, A Fistful of Dollars. The final fight, the final conflict in A Fistful of Dollars. The first time I saw it was so awesome.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
okay.
not one we watched.
Yes.
If the shootout scene in Once Upon a Time in the West, every now and then I just pull it up and watch it on YouTube, so I can like revel in how beautiful
I do
fucking scene it is.
I do that with the Doc Holliday and Johnny Ringo scene in Tombstone.
Yeah.
I will just pull that up and watch it on YouTube.
Such
And I'll
a
be
good
like, this
scene.
is awesome. Anyways, let's move on. Good question, Gunslinger Randy. This question is from Marta, and it is a question for me.
Yes, average human, yeah.
And it's a question I get a fair amount, so I'm glad this comes up.
Cool.
Marta asked, for Marshall, what would you do if chat didn't unlock divine intervention and the posse had taken Chaos's deal?
Oh.
So this,
We were ready to.
this is a difficult question to answer because divine intervention had been unlocked the previous session. So I already knew going into that session that it had been unlocked and I could plan for it. Here's the interesting thing about that whole aspect of Gabe becoming a blessed. So I think it was at Gen Con last year before season 2 of Wildcards.
Yep.
I talked about how I had thought about this in season 1. I was like, what if Gabe got impressed, like basically drafted into becoming a blessed?
And you know
then
what?
I was like,
I had the same thought.
Yeah.
And when you brought it up at Gen Con,
Right.
I was like, I swear to God, I had the same.
I didn't want to do that though, because I was like, that would be a huge change for Jordan's character. That would be putting a lot on his character. I don't want to make that decision for him. But then we were talking at Gen Con and it kind of came up and you had the same thought and I was like, oh, that's so cool. We should talk about that. We should explore it. And then we didn't talk about it a whole lot more. And then early on in season 2, you had the Twitter interaction with Gerald Richards for the first time, and then that was right before the helpening. So he told you to like try and do some good in the community, and I could tell you, Jordan Pridgeon, thought that I was trying to start up the like, hey, Gabe's going to be a blessed thing.
I definitely did, but I was like, this is a strange direction to go with it because you had already been having weird effects of what I said happen to people, and I was like, wow, this is pretty dark.
Yeah,
But I don't know how this stuff works.
right. So I got to do a fun thing where not only was Chaos manipulating Gabriel Pryor, I was sort of manipulating Jordan Pridgeon.
Absolutely.
And then it didn't. It didn't end up going the way he thought, and then we kind of like let that slide by the wayside.
Which, by the way, made the helpening like a great like confused panic moment for
right?
the character.
It's
and
like, this
everything.
isn't supposed to be happening. But I still wanted it to happen, and I wanted it to happen at a sufficiently dramatic moment, and that's why I put the Divine Intervention tier in, and that's why I was glad it got unlocked, and that I got the opportunity to put it into play. So had they taken Chaos's deal and Divine Intervention hadn't been on the table, I don't know. I don't know if I would have put them in that same situation if Divine Intervention hadn't been on the table, because it was kind of like a real, like, there wasn't really a choice. It was kind of like, hey, do this or everyone dies and also you die. It's difficult to say. I think it would have been interesting to see what would happen if they were, you know, wandering the West, spreading the poison of a reckoner. But I guess we'll never know, because I knew going into it that was on the table. So it's hard for me to answer that. I hope that answers that question. This is a question from Gab Greg 47, or Gabby, and this one's for Megan. And you kind of already addressed this, so if there's anything else that it touches on, if not, we can jump ahead. But for Megan, how has it been playing Rosaline and her character arc this season?
You know, it's been tough actually, because it's funny. I noticed kind of in playing this that there's so many similarities to me. That I didn't realize I threw in there. So I don't know. Rosaline has been a big deal to me in a lot of ways. For me as a person and as an actor, growth has been very important. So I've really wanted to do it well. And I feel like sometimes when I do that, I get in my head, which makes it very hard to do what I want to do. So it's been tough. It's been something that I really wanted to hit correctly. And it's interesting when you're doing improv, because you don't know when those moments will come. You have to be ready for them, and you have to recognize them when they come. And I feel like I missed a few moments this season, actually. I feel like I missed a few moments between Rose and Gabe, which frustrated me. And I feel like I missed some opportunities to either dive deeper into what she's dealing with or pull out of it, different things like that. Yeah. What else? Tell me the question again, because I feel like I...
It was, what's it been like to play Rosaline in her character arc this
Yeah, yeah, but it's I really enjoyed it. It's been interesting to play with weakness a little bit more here, and fear, and that kind of vulnerability is really interesting, especially for this character, because the way I brought her in the first season was very she's very arrogant, and she's self-assured in a lot of ways, and then all of a sudden all of that was shaken, and her major rock, Gabriel, was everything's different, and that's a huge thing for her. And it's been a lot of fun, but I think I've worried that I didn't always do it as honestly as I wanted. But that's me being a perfectionist, of course. But yeah, it's been a challenge that I've really enjoyed and has been very frustrating at times.
Sounds good. And that is an interesting idea, BSB Care. It would be fun to do a Wildcards one-shot sometime, an Elseworld story,
like
where
what
you guys did accept the deal.
Oh, that would be super cool.
And just jump in and see what had happened in that time. That's an interesting idea.
Like even like a couple of years later.
Yeah.
When we've been basically working as the servitors of
I really
chaos.
like that a lot.
Yeah, that could be interesting. That would be an interesting spin on things.
You know what you should do? Well, never mind. I'll say it later.
All right, good, because we have a lot more questions to get our way through. All right, this is a question for everyone.
Ooh.
This is another question from Gabby. What has been your favorite character moment so far this season, be it a serious moment or a comedic one? And I'm gonna say, let's make that about your character, I guess. What's
your
been,
character?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not specified, but what has been your favorite character moment so far this season? Serious or comedic?
I got this one.
Yeah. What's yours?
Should I answer?
Yeah.
Go for it.
It's for everyone. So
Yeah, it's for everyone.
Even you.
Okay.
You are part of everyone.
Definitely comedic, but definitely the minefield moment, because as it was happening, it was very much like I was like making decisions like, no, Gabe's not gonna fall for this shit. This like he thinks this is a goddamn trick. And when you were like, is he feeling pretty confident about that? I was like, you know what? I am. Like it was just what I was thinking in my head. And when you asked it, I was like, well played, Marshall.
That was a fun moment.
I have to agree
really
with
good.
that. I had a lot of fun. That whole episode was fun. It's funny because playing this in general, like some nights we have episodes that are just like, they just hit. Like we all pick up what each other's laying down, and I feel like that was one of those episodes where there were so many great moments. I loved arguing with Gabe in the minefield. It was such a, it was great. And then you guys were like, just let them.
Their reaction too, like Hal was like, should we go up? And James was like, no.
Yeah.
Let's just let this play out.
It was so exciting. Like after that, I feel like we were all like, this was great.
I wanted to say a super minor moment that also I had kind of like, oh cool, we're all on the same page. And like the second to last episode, when Gabe had a discussion with Bogue about like, before we all went out to do our own thing, before doing stuff, and Bogue was like, all right, well, let's work together on doing this. Like, that was how I had hoped it would kind of go, and like the fact that we were both so like on the same page.
Yeah.
And then our like teamwork like totally overcame the crazy.
It was really cool because we hadn't seen a lot of teamwork between Bogue and Gabriel specifically, like just the two of them.
Yeah.
Vampire 54, thank you.
Thank you.
It felt very good from a game, like from like a player perspective. To me, it was like, okay, we're figuring out our roles as a team, and everyone's accepted, like what they're good at and how to work together.
That was cool.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I mean, mine's an easy one. Mine was the episode right after where I finally got to meet my wife again.
Yeah. That was a good episode.
And like, I kind of built up in my head like what I was going to say to her, because the episode previous was when we got to their home at the very end.
That was the minefield
But
fight.
then we had a week off because I couldn't be there. And then I had 2 weeks essentially to think about what I wanted to say. And like, it was so weird because I think it's been a year since I played my first game, which it contained Ludi, around that time. And it was like, what am I going to say to her? And I was not expecting really that it would be like, oh, she doesn't want to be with you. Like that wasn't in my head. So like a lot of that was like, really? Like I went through all this trouble, and like it was heartbreaking for me, and like it felt. I mean, at the end, we sort of resolved it where she explained herself, and I thought that was very cool, setting up a future timeline where we have a child who's like a hellion and is just a troublemaker for everybody around and causes all sorts of trouble, and that's why she doesn't want to do it. But the reason I liked it the most is because it gave him a very clear motivation and goal moving forward from there. It wasn't that he needed to find his wife anymore. It was so he can complete the job, so he can be with his wife.
Yeah.
And that was my character defining moment for this season, I think.
Yeah, I got to watch that one from the audience perspective.
You did.
Because I wasn't in it, and it was a very good episode.
Yeah.
Like I was like, man, these guys are like nailing it on the emotional level.
And also Rose is like, fuck Gabe.
Yeah, yeah, that too.
And I actually sent him a message. I was like, hey, so I kind of went this direction. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I very much. That one kind of caught me by surprise because I knew going in, like I knew from the beginning of this season, I was like early on I want him to find Ludi because I don't want it to be this sort of like, and I'm still looking for my wife. I was like I wanted to take it in kind of an interesting direction that gave you a reason for playing with everyone still, but also like to kind of give you a different spin on it. But I was surprised. I actually got a little bit emotional doing that. Yeah, I was like,
did.
when we were having that final interaction between Howl and Ludi, I was like, I'm getting kind of choked up about this. Like that's really cool.
I saw that.
So yeah, I thought that was a cool moment too.
I had one other moment.
Can we let James have his moment?
I'm sorry.
They just added the quote, "Fuck Gabe."
Rosaline.
My favorite moment is whatever Megan wants.
Oh, come on.
Hashtag whatever Megan wants.
Oh no, God, don't do that.
I don't know. There were a couple of moments where for me Bogue lived up to his potential, like the picture of Bogue that I have of the badass gunslinger, and that was in the first episode, the train job, and then also the helping you guys out. I loved that one because I didn't even have to fire a shot. I could use the intimidation factor that Bogue has and not even do anything. But for me, this season for Bogue was going from the loner that can't work with anyone to understanding that he has friends now that are also in on this. And so the turning point, the big moment for me was killing the train guy and realizing at that point that, oh shit, I've pushed Rosaline too far in this. I've turned her into me. And he's like, and he did not want to do that anymore. So,
I really loved that dynamic though, because I felt like it really worked well for both things, for both of our characters though.
This was a really fun season for exploring what I guess we could have established as the off pairs of the group.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Bogue and Hal automatically were like, kind of like cool, down to earth, get shit done bros.
Right.
Best friends.
And then we were the con couple and that kind of thing. And this season let like Hal and Gabe develop a relationship and really let Bogue and Rose develop a relationship, which was just...
And Bogue and Gabe?
Yeah, and Bogue and Gabe by the end. And
Rose and Hal, I don't know.
Yeah, we got to work on some stuff.
I don't know. She's still a little unsure about how.
He's very scared of you.
But I feel like it made everything feel more robust in that. I was like, oh, I know how I feel about all these characters now.
Yeah, it was really interesting seeing you guys just kind of like pick up on these threads and then just being able to be like, oh, I guess I'm going to sit back and just kind of watch this for a little bit because this is fun.
Yeah, it was fun because we talked about some stuff going into that season about like...
I think when you said like, oh, you could like be my manager, I was like,
exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Such a fun idea.
Yeah, because like he wouldn't know how to go through that underworld business, but like Gabe would know that completely. And that juxtaposition of like you being like a con man and me being just like a naive good guy would work so well together, and it did. I loved all our moments.
Yeah,
That was fun.
The moment I liked was the shadow walk moment where we escaped the wraith. That's the other moment.
That was a really cool moment.
I thought we were dead.
I did too.
I forgot
when
you
he
could
dropped
do that.
when he dropped the dynamite and it was Bogue going for the bomb and then you beating him on an agility roll so that you could jump up and shadow walk all of them outside, completely knocking yourself out.
And at that time, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, I think I can only shadow walk 2 other people. So is Rose going to have to pick like who she's in? That's what I was thinking.
Choice.
Yes, I was like, fuck, what do I do? I mean, so that was when I realized I could take all 3. I was like, okay, good, I'll do that. I really liked that moment.
Yeah, those are good moments. Those are good moments, guys.
We have another toast.
We have another
toast. I'm gonna drink.
Raise your glasses.
Vampire 54 says, to more episodes that hit than that miss. To more episodes that hit than that miss.
Set him up and knock him down. I will happily drink to that.
Me too.
Traveling through hell was a fun moment. Yes. There's some things. It's hard for me to pick a favorite moment this season. There's a lot of things that kind of surprise me. Like I think Historian of Nukes had mentioned enjoying the way I characterized the Wraith, which I'm glad. I had no idea what the Wraith was going to be like until I had him speak for the first time. I was like, oh, I guess I'm doing this. That's fun. I'll keep playing with that. The traveling through hell thing, I didn't really plan out. I just kind of was like, this is how that'll work. But I felt like I got the opportunity to kind of spin that out into a more involved moment in the, like, I don't know, there was a lot of really cool things that came up this season. So let's move on.
Okie dokie.
This is from Emperor Riptide.
Okay.
Is there a clear end game for the posse aside from the Baron, 6 seasons in a movie, before they wander off into the sunset? And if so, what comes after? So this is an interesting question. I guess this is largely for me.
Sure.
But the Baron is not actually the end game. The Baron was kind of like a big foe from the outset, but the real end game is chaos. The real antagonist here is chaos, because you have essentially an evil god who has taken a specific interest in you guys. So the Baron is definitely something that's kind of like James Bogue's personal demon, and everyone else is kind of now more personally invested in that because of the things they've experienced together. But the real like final boss battle or whatever, although it probably won't look like that, is chaos. And do I have a clear endgame in sight? Yes. Do I know what that looks like? Maybe, but that's definitely going to be heavily informed by what happens next, because we still got some more time before then.
Running an improv story like this is very fascinating. Having come from, memorizing a script that is already written to something like this. I mean, yes, it's playing a game. That's what playing tabletop RPGs is like. But when you're doing it for an audience, it's different. Especially for Wildcards, the way we've heightened. It's really interesting, sort of what you're saying. That just what comes up affects where we end up in a lot of ways. And I feel like we have a dynamic where we can trust each other to do that, which is why I enjoy Wildcards so much. We found something really, really cool here.
Yeah. This next question is from Double Up Omega, and this is a question for everyone. What action has your character taken that you as a player regret the most?
Oh, I have one for this.
Oh, go for it.
So, end of season 2, when we were in that cavern with Chaos, meeting him, Hal was the first one to say, like, yep, I agree. Like,
that was a big surprise for me.
I'm flipping sides immediately.
I figured Hal would be the holdout.
Yeah, and I regret that because it is very out of character for him to do that. I mean, he was very desperate at that point. And he was also like, his ribs were in the ground at that point.
Well, and the reason made sense. He was going to tell you where your wife was.
Right, yeah, I know. But at that point, I thought about it after and I was like, I don't think Ludi would appreciate what I did to get to that point.
Sure.
Like he would, as a character, he would be like, no, I would go to any point other than this, I think. Because that would be essentially betraying you if you guys all said no and I said yes.
Sure.
And that would be against, I don't think that the character would do that. So that's one I, as a player, regret.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Who else has one?
Okay. I actually sort of, in general, as a player, never regret decisions that I've made as the character, because it's like, well, as long as you've made a decision, it's something, you know. And you just have to deal with if it's something your character wouldn't have normally done. You have to figure out why they didn't do that. I do, however, kind of regret, and this was sort of this comes with the difficulty of trying to like jump around in time sometimes in stories, but in the flashback story of when Gabe and Rose like started, like left as a couple, left I think it was Norfolk that we were in. I played Gabe as more of an asshole to like a lot of the people in his old life than I meant to. And I guess that's like fine, because it all kind of works in like an arc of him becoming a different person and like finding purpose and that sort of thing. But I remember coming out of that episode and being like, I might have made Gabe too unlikable.
Yeah, I felt like, I agree with you. I felt like that episode we both were kind of like huge assholes, and that wasn't really the intention there. Again, that comes sort of back to the improv nature of it, and it gets away from you sometimes.
And it also was difficult because you guys were improvising to a known endpoint, essentially, which can be hard to do.
Yeah, that was hard.
Yes, B.S. Care, I'm perfect. That's my quote.
Is that yours as well, or do you have a different one?
Remember when you murdered that guy in Cold Blood?
So
that was a great moment, though.
It was a really good moment.
It is.
It was one of those things. Like I said, I really thought of Rose as going too far this season. That's really where I wanted to go with her, and that moment presented itself, and I took it. It was very hard for Meghan, because Meghan did not want to do that. Meghan was like, talking about myself in third person here, but seriously, I was like, oh man, this is intense, but I thought it was really great. It's just such great emotional fodder for Rosaline to deal with from here on out, and I really like that, but it's tough. Also, actually, my Rosaline's worst nightmare is imprisonment, and there were a lot of opportunities to play with that, and I missed them. And I realized them later, because I was thinking of other things, and I sort of threw it in occasionally, but there was the Sisters of Eminence, that whole thing, and it sort of came out, but it more came out accidentally than intentionally, which frustrated me. And then there was the moment we were in the jail cell. Granted, there was other things going on with her at that point, sure, but I sort of tried to throw it in, but it felt like an afterthought. So that's something I definitely regretted. I feel like I don't know, I tend to regret little emotional moments when they come up, and I feel like I didn't commit to them in the way that I wanted to, or I didn't respond in the way that I wanted to, or I pulled back. Sort of like what I was saying earlier. Other specifics than that, I can't think of right now, but...
well, real quick, going back to when you talked about, where we just mentioned you killing the train guy, which was, what was the name of the company?
Bayou Vermilion.
Bayou Vermilion. When you slit that guy's throat, the way I saw it was like you were spending time with Bogue and you were mad at Gabe at that point, I think. And it was like, I thought you were doing it to like sort of impress Bogue. Yeah. Like a little bit. I know you didn't mention it at all, but that's how I was seeing it. Like you're like, I'll do this for you. Like you want me to kill this guy? Like I can be like you. Like
I got the same sort of impression, but I also kind of thought it was for her too.
Sure. Yeah,
it was a little bit of both of those things. I think so. Her whole thought process in all of this is that James makes the most sense. James has a goal that is attainable, and that is the closest for her to make everything like it was.
Right.
Because that was her whole goal has always been find the richest person and get dirt on them or whatever. Basically, gain power over them and gain power over everyone. By doing that, and so the Baron is that person for her, and it aligns with what James is doing. Makes sense. Nothing else made sense to her, so that's what she focused on. And it was sort of that, like, yeah, this is what we have to do. I have to do this. I can do it. But it was definitely, and especially with James, because James was going to do it. So if Rose is going to do this, if she's going to follow this path, then she's got to be able to step up and do that. So there is an element of sort of, I don't know that it was logically in her mind, I'm going to impress James. It was for her, it was telling herself that she can do what it takes. But that's not what she wants to be. She just can't come to terms with that, I think. Yeah.
New drinking game. Take a shot every time Meghan slaps/hits the table.
Sorry. There's too much Moscow Mule over here. I apologize.
There's no Moscow.
Yeah, there's no Moscow Mule over here.
It's gone.
It's all gone, yeah.
Geez, I don't know.
Jimmy B?
Yeah. I mean,
Jimmy B,
I do wish I could have handled the murder situation a little bit better, but looking back at it, like that's
I wish we really could have handled that and murdered.
Murdered better.
that just to me that seems pretty much in line with what Bogue would have done anyway. Some people were saying my daughter, and I played that exactly the way
I
Bogue.
love the way
I thought that was
Dom-
played too.
Yeah.
I love the way Dom played that scene.
The like awkward but like trying to be gruff and like not knowing how to handle it.
Such assholes to you. I mean, that was
Well,
so
especially since I was doing exactly what you guys were saying to do.
I know, I loved it though. It was such a like asshole Rose and Gabe thing. to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
We were
That's pretty
such
great.
assholes.
That's pretty great.
Oh, that whole episode was great.
Yeah, I don't know. I tend. It's not that I'm not perfect like Jordan. I just forget bad moments. So
That joke.
yeah,
I know, I was agreeing. I knew who it was.
yeah.
You too.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of go over. I know that you guys probably have a list of moments that you kind of scratch your head and go, why? I do wish I had unhooked the horses from the train, from the bear's train.
So that they didn't explode.
So that they didn't explode. That would have been
You didn't
nice.
know they were going to blow up.
Oh,
But
no.
no,
Isn't it?
Wait, that just occurred to me.
Isn't it funny
Did we discuss that?
how attached you can get to like non-real things?
Yeah.
right.
There's
yeah.
so many instances where you're like, these people are dying. I'm like, oh no. Like, I'm really legitimately upset by it. I'm like, they're not real, Megan. They're not real.
I'm gonna get real upset if I actually lose Gussie. Like
Sure.
she runs away a lot, but I'm like, oh, I really want Gussie back, guys.
Well, the closest thing I ever had to a horse died this season.
That's true. Poor Canary.
It was very sad.
She brought me the stick back.
Rip Canary.
Can I have a raspberry ale, please?
Yes.
All right, I think those are good answers. Let's move on to this next one.
Okay.
From Beacon29. Beacon asks, what is everyone's favorite NPC of Season 3 of Wildcards?
What's
Of
Rob-
season 3.
Wait, what, sorry, one more time?
What is everyone's favorite NPC from Season 3 of Wildcards?
Okay.
Was Roped one of them? Was that
Roped was a Season
Yep,
3
Just
NPC.
any NPCs.
easy? Yep, that's it.
You
Yep,
like
that's the
Roped?
guy. Yep.
I like
Okay.
Roped. I liked Claire.
Oh yeah, Claire was
When
one.
Claire was introduced, it's funny because because she was Irish and everyone was like,
Yeah.
and I was like, wait, me too. I was like,
You were like, hold on, did I?
hold on, did I?
We didn't do that prequel yet.
Yeah, and I liked. Oh, there was somebody else. The Rant was pretty
Weasel.
Weasel's great.
Weasel was
Ferret?
really good.
Ferret. His name is Ferret. You guys
Right,
just
I
call
called him
Weasel,
Weasel
yeah.
to be an
He was
ass.
an NPC for Patreon, or
No.
that's,
No,
he
he's
was
just
an
a NPC.
Yeah.
He was great too. Yeah. Rip Ferret.
I don't know. I love all the NPCs. That's what makes it
Ropes
really...
is not a real name.
Roped.
He's German.
Roped came up as a name on my Western name generator, just ROBT. So I decided I'll just pronounce that with a German accent and make it this weird name. So I apologies if it's not a real German name. My intention was not to make anyone feel like I was making fun of German names.
And Addie was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, Addie?
Yeah.
Because-
well, of course you
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
voting.
She had a boat.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately it was the concierge.
Oh, Nicholas!
Love Nicholas.
That asshole.
Right. Oh, he was bad
Oh, he's
news.
so good. I love him.
Bad news.
That was, yeah.
I did kind of like him.
Yeah, he was good.
Five Fist Johnson. Yeah, a lot of these are accidents. A lot of these, like Five Fist Johnson was someone that I think, like
I came up
Jordan
with the
just
name
like
Five
pointed
Fist
at
Johnson.
someone and was like, "Yeah, what about Five Fist Johnson here?" And I was like, "What is this guy like?"
That was me trying to come up with a cool fighting name on a very like quick like thing, and I'm just like Five Fist Johnson, and I'm like, come on, Jordan.
It feels like a guy named Five Fist Johnson would be like an explosive guy. He's a very sad and depressed.
I
like,
pictured Five Fist Johnson like a giant slug.
Yes,
In my
yes.
head the whole time I was like, this is a slug man. And I have to agree with Bastion Phils. I think my favorite accidental NPC
Yeah,
of all
Duff.
time is Duff Bullet.
Oh, for sure.
Hey,
Oh,
Duff Bullet is the
incidentally,
best.
Duff Bullet does intro and outro some of the podcasts. So
That's true.
Check that out. I think the last two, the prologue episodes of season 1. If you want to hear that.
And
Bobob.
Shimmickson, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I think we've unlocked another tier.
Yes, we have. And they say that Nicholas will turn and help Chaos, and I say no, he won't.
No.
He'll just be. I'm sorry, sir. I cannot
very
provide
much,
that
I would very
information.
much like to help you with
I
that,
remain neutral.
but I cannot.
And then Chaos gets a room at the thing. He's like, I am here.
Absolutely. I'm at your disposal.
That's all you have to do.
Oh, we unlocked 2 more tiers.
Yes.
Oh, we did? Okay. Well, while we figured out that, I have a question here from #Beals Protection Squad. And the question is Beals okay? And the answer is,
Oh.
I believe the last thing that we heard
God.
was that Detweiler said he would take care of Beals.
Yeah.
Whether that means he's going to get her out of jail, whether that means he's going to keep her from being put in a position where she could compromise the integrity of the agency, whether it
Beals.
means something else entirely.
Rose is never going to sleep well again.
I guess we'll have to find out.
Yeah. Raise your glasses.
Oh,
All right.
I will raise a
My glass is
glass.
still empty. Wow.
No, it's mine. Shimmickson says, Prost to the path behind us, to the road still before, to the way beyond the horizon, and to breakfast soup. Prost to the path behind us, to the road still before, to the way beyond the horizon, and to breakfast soup.
Set him up and knock him down. Thank you very much, Shimmickson. All right.
Don't forget we still have these yes/no questions.
Yeah, you guys do have those.
If you guys think of anything.
And also, if you're just joining us, you can hit !unlocks in chat to see what it is that can be unlocked tonight. What have we unlocked now?
Well, I'll tell you, Jordan, we have unlocked a new card! A little less mysterious. The posse gets to design and add one thing to the mystery box, balanced and agreed upon by the marshal, to be pulled during the next season.
Oh my god.
And if we have time, I would like to do that here
Okay.
tonight.
On stream?
Yeah,
Sure.
on stream. If
Alright.
I want to
So
get through the
it's-
questions first
Alright, we
and
can
take
do
the
that.
questions
It's
in chat.
documented?
But that is,
Sweet,
if
so
not, we will do it
official it is.
off stream and announce it.
And now, a taste of chaos. Howell, aka Garav, has to eat some ghost pepper salsa while talking about his favorite moment from the past 3 seasons in great detail.
Ghost pepper salsa.
That is absolutely true.
We brought that to Garav from
Yeah,
Oklahoma.
these guys got it to me.
All right,
I'm so excited.
Pop that open. Ooh, give that,
Oh,
give it a
Global
smell. It
Malware,
just
the
smells really
ghost
good. It's a
pepper.
really good flavor.
Really watery.
It is. I don't know why it is.
It
You might
is.
want to shake
It
that up.
is really
yeah,
good.
shake it up.
It has a good
Stir it a
flavor.
little bit.
It's right over
It
here.
smells good though.
Do,
It smells
While
like
you do
marinated.
this-
do
I'm gonna go
the
back.
custom soda thing where you flip it and then you bring it back up?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what you have to do.
You have to
Bye,
guess
Megan.
the flavors, though.
Where are you going?
Fire.
Could you grab a bowl, actually?
A bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just going to pour some of it into a bowl.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what?
I'm going to pour all of this into a bowl.
Wait, I want to make myself a drink before I eat this shit.
No, there's no time.
What? No, I need to have something to drink.
No, there's no time.
Do this to me.
We were gonna get milk and then we forgot.
All right, ghost pepper salsa.
Wait,
Shaken.
Oh, there we go. That's better. That's nice and chunky.
Don't let it hit your pants.
I'm gonna drink your Coke.
Don't let it hit your pants.
Hey, could you get him like a Coke or something out of there?
Too many Cokes.
Too many Cokes. Should I do this now?
I can't watch.
What
can't,
happened there?
I just got a little bit off the side of the jar.
We can't watch that clip right now, DJ Regular.
all
But
right.
I'm excited to eventually watch.
So it has been unlocked. So you have to eat this and then talk about your favorite moment from this season in great detail.
For the last
From
three.
the last three
Last
seasons.
3 seasons. Okay. So take a big scoop of it.
Okay.
Big
Give it a
scoop.
Nice chip. This is a good scoop and chip.
You gotta show
Is
it.
this too much?
Show it to the audience.
No, that looks like a good amount.
Okay.
Show it to the
how do I
audience.
do that?
Just
Is this-
lift it up. Yep.
Is that good? Can you guys see this? This is ghost pepper
Here he goes.
salsa. How many scooples is
Ghost
this?
pepper.
I have no idea.
Okay, great.
A lot?
I like
I
spicy.
want Megan to
things.
walk
Four
across
Scobles.
and cover the camera right when you eat it, so we can do a quick cut.
Oh, yum, yum, yum. Oh, so spicy.
So spicy.
I like the train moment.
Here he goes.
Okay, here we go.
If it's like not very hot and you're just like, oh,
It has a really good flavor.
you know.
And it's hot, but it hits.
My experience with those has always been like it starts cramping up on you
Yeah.
afterwards.
I can smell a little bit.
Okay,
Yeah.
talk about your favorite moment.
That's where I got. Okay. So, my favorite moment is from season 2, actually. It was the episode where I was introduced. I don't remember the exact number of the episode, but you can look it up. Might be 4, might be... It was 4, 204. Thank you, Megan.
You're welcome.
The episode I was introduced to. So, Howell was an NPC made, or actually, he was a character made up by Jordan, and he basically just said code of honor was his thing. So, in the episode, this is the episode that Gabe wasn't there, and Tortlaw was there instead. And Tortlaw kept on talking about becoming an owl. And he didn't understand that. He didn't understand like what she was talking about.
We often didn't understand that.
When he was a doubting Thomas.
Do you want to have another one, just in case it's wearing off?
Let's do it.
It's tasty though, right?
It builds though, so you really kind of have to have another one in order to really get the. So focused.
Yeah, guys.
Is Grub okay to be?
I'm not going to react at all.
Okay.
I'll eat it.
So
It's going to be like nothing.
What holds you to that?
Tortlaw was talking about becoming an owl, and I was like, Howell didn't understand that, so
smart.
he took that as her just being like making it up to go to the bathroom. So every time she was like, I gotta go to an owl. I'm like, oh, she's just going to the bath. It's just lady stuff, right? She's just going to the bathroom. It was very strange to him. But that was just the start of him being a very naive person as well.
Sure.
To being just a gentleman.
Yeah.
So I combined those two things.
A little bit of tears are starting to show up here.
Yeah.
So that was my favorite moment from the last 3 seasons. I wasn't in season 1, so I don't have a favorite moment.
Well done, Grub. Well done.
Good. It's really good.
I'll say you can drink now. Have something to drink.
Here we go.
Have something to drink.
Soda.
All right. So I believe we're $25 away from the next one of us having some ghost pepper salsa.
Yes.
So thank you guys very much for that.
Caliente.
Actually, this is actually pretty good.
It is right. It tastes really nice.
It actually is
it's
really
very
good.
hot.
But I'm not
very
going to have
good.
as much as
Yeah, have a just a little bit.
It's good. It's just.
Okay, this next question is from Historian of Nukes. And the question is, would you be against other marshals using chaos in their campaigns? And absolutely no. Oh my god, I think that would be amazing.
That'd be sweet.
If you like that idea, please use it.
Who asked that?
Historian of Nukes.
Sweet.
That I think is one of the that's a thing that GMs aspire to is
Absolutely,
to be able to come up with something that someone else wants to go like, oh, I'll use that. So please.
There's just a small licensing fee.
Yeah, just send it to royalties to Jordan.
Just send me check our money order.
If you laugh at any of the things or have a good time, just record that and send it to Jordan.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you for the question.
Yeah. Chaos makes sense to me as like a good idea for a character in a Deadlands setting because it lets you have someone who is like a top tier, powerful, important villain where you don't necessarily have to go within the rules and the systems that have been set up for the horsemen who are already established in the whole thing, which is the Reckoners, which is like awesome.
I am completely off the reservation at this point with Chaos, and we'll see where that goes. Hopefully in a good direction.
This is getting worse.
Yeah, it builds. It builds.
Do you have
over
another
time.
favorite moment you want to talk about?
This question is from Silvana. And this is, again, another question from me, but I'd be interested to see what you guys' thoughts are on this.
Okay.
At what point did you realize that you could use the player's intro answers, i.e. the popcorn lady, against them? Was this something you had thought of from the beginning, or did their great answers spur you on to use them?
This is a very Jordan Caves-callarman thing to do. So
I didn't know that was a thing he did at all until I said that part.
Well, yeah, he's just very you.
Okay, well, so the original point of the questions was to be just kind of like a little hook or tag, at the beginning of the episode to kind of let chat and everyone at the table know a little bit more about the characters, and also to get the players at the table in the frame of mind of thinking about their characters in a more three-dimensional way, which is actually something I think that I got. How you doing over there, buddy? You doing okay?
It's great. Don't keep talking.
I think I actually I took that from Tyler Rhodes. Tyler does that.
Yeah?
Tyler does that in his games, and he did it when I guessed it on his game, and I thought it was a really cool thing to do. I steal most of the stuff that I do. I've stolen from other people that are better like at things than I am. So,
yeah, but you know what? You're hamstrung if you don't use a good idea just because someone else has already used it. Like if it makes things better, use a good idea.
Absolutely,
Totally, yeah.
Absolutely. And also, I hopefully I made it my own. So I mean that's part of it too. But yeah, and I also wanna take issue with some verbiage here because it's never something I use against them.
Sure.
I very, very much am against the idea of an adversarial GM. I don't like the players versus GM mentality at the table. I don't think of myself as their opposition. I think of myself as did we lose?
What?
Is it?
No.
Oh, someone asked up there. We're good.
I don't
Do you
think
guys see us? Am I
You
giving
see
a
it
thumbs
here?
up?
Yeah.
Okay,
Double thumbs up?
Okay, cool. So I don't think of myself as their opposition or their antagonist. I think of myself as a keeper of secrets, essentially. But I am a fan of the characters, and I'm a fan of my players, and I want them to succeed. I just want to challenge them. I want to keep secrets from them that are bad secrets, good secrets. I go out of my way, especially living with Rosaline, to keep things or mislead them into.
It's very much like in improv or anything. It's sort of a gift. It's a gift that he takes and uses.
But there's some things that come up in those questions that are too good to just let float away.
Totally.
Like the idea that, and I know Gaurav did it as a joke, but the idea that there was this mysterious woman that gave him popcorn under shady circumstances when he was a child in a situation he didn't understand. I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. And I kept telling him, I'm gonna use that. And he was like, okay, whatever.
No.
And then I just let it drop for a really long time. But going into this season, I was like, at some point, I'm gonna have a tarot card scene with a popcorn woman on it. Like that's all I knew, and I wanted to build up to that at some point. Like I knew that was gonna happen this season because of that. So yeah, when they're there, you gotta use them.
But that comes back to, again, I feel like we've had meetings and stuff, and we have a dynamic in which we can trust each other here. So we can throw those things out, and he can take them, and we can play off of them, and you know, and if something comes up that we're not cool with, we can talk about it. That's one thing that I think has made that kind of stuff really great and doable for this table, because I've definitely played in some games where you can't do that.
Beacon, yes, popcorn does exist around this time period, but I forget where specifically someone made a joke, an offhand comment about popcorn.
It was the episode before that Tyler was in, because we weren't here.
That's right. It was the episode with Tyler Rhodes. We made a joke.
For some reason, we made popcorn like a super rare delicacy.
And I was like, yeah, I'll make that canon.
Yeah,
Popcorn doesn't work in Deadlands. Something about the reckoning has fucked with corn.
Of course.
Corn don't pop.
It doesn't.
Not easily.
I mean, it does sometimes, but like it's difficult. Gabe's never tried popcorn.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, that's canon.
Rose has been a super asshole. Never shared it with him.
This is another question from Silvana for Megan.
Okay.
You mentioned in a previous episode that when you first created your character, you had specifically set her up to eventually use the puppet spell. Is there a backstory as to why, yet unseen, or did you just really like the spell?
Well, honestly, the concept came about, of Rosalind came about sort of because of that spell. I was thinking it would be really interesting to have a character who, a magic character basically, who used her powers more as in a manipulative way than actually being the main thing that she did. And Puppet was like exactly that. So yeah, I kind of build her. It's interesting though, now that I have it,
It's kind of scary to use.
It is. Oh my God. Yeah, it's an intense spell for sure. But she kind of grew in her own way, and then all of a sudden, here's Puppet, this thing I've been working towards, and it's like, it's great because it actually means something else entirely now for her to use it than I thought it would whenever I planned the character originally. You know, I didn't think of it as such a.
So dark.
Yeah, I
Such
really
an
did.
invasive kind of like ability.
And now it's like it plays so well with the shit that she's dealing with right now. It's actually it's really cool. But yeah, I don't know.
So a little bit of both, I would say.
Yeah.
I also built my character until she got Puppet.
Yeah.
To do, because you kept writing all those paragraphs about how you were going to use Puppet.
Right.
And then I was surprised when suddenly you were a gunslinger.
Yeah,
Right.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of strange.
But it was all eventually until she got Puppet, really.
Right.
So this question's from Vampire54. What, if anything, have you read of the original Deadlands, and if anything, would like to touch on from that? So I haven't read anything from the original Deadlands except for now the Night Train module. And after reading the Night Train module, I really want to read more Classic Deadlands. Like now I'm like, oh, I might need to buy that 20th anniversary edition of the Classic Rules.
That book's cool.
Basically, there's so many supplements for original Deadlands, and they all take place chronologically before Deadlands Reloaded. So I really want to dive into it. So I might have to start kind of picking some of that stuff up slowly, because it's just there's so much great material in there. It's good stuff.
Gen Con,
getting cheap stuff from a weird small booth.
Yeah.
This next question is also from Vampire 54.
Just to make it clear, I don't think any of us have read any Classic Deadlands.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
yeah, no.
Nope. I'm normally the type who would like devour stuff like that when I start getting into it, but also Marshall specifically requested that we not look into stuff, and I think it's been good because I'm discovering the world as Gabe discovers the world. I have read, I've read almost all of the Deadlands Noir and Hell on Earth books though, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's and that just kind of goes back to like, I asked them to not do too much reading if they wouldn't mind to, or if they really felt they had to, they could. But I like kind of that organic thrill of discovery thing as well. And we can really only have that the first time you play through a world like this.
That's awesome. Average Human said, I didn't think very highly of the Deadlands as a setting until watching the show.
Let's go.
Wait to play it. Yeah, that's awesome.
This is another question from Vampire 54. Are there any minor retcons you'd like to do to your character or another from their backstories? Either stuff we have seen on screen or off. Like anything from your backstory of your characters that you wish you could retcon.
You know, I'm gonna be honest, I think it's fairly easy to retcon backstory stuff because like you always say, if it hasn't happened on stream, it's not necessarily canon. So minus what we talked about with the flashback episode of when we met, I think for both of us, we'd kind of like to go back and be less assholes then. But like you said, it kind of works. But yeah, beyond that, not really. I feel like we've sort of started in the middle with these characters, or at least I can say this about Rosaline. I started in the middle, and then we're kind of growing forward and back, if that makes sense, so past and future.
I bet you're wishing you hadn't sent that telegram to Quentin O'Loughlin.
Oh no, actually, I think it's going to be. So okay. This is one thing that I'll touch on with that. With Rose, I played characters before where I built like this huge, long, this big backstory and all this stuff, and it didn't really get played with, and I felt like it actually hindered me in the character. Like I felt it was too much to try to play, and I couldn't figure out how to get it out there. So when I built Rose, I didn't give her like a distinct goal to go after, which actually in the context of this show, in some ways made it more difficult to find a specific thing to focus on with her, if that makes sense. And that was actually the whole thing with Quentin O'Loughlin and the Blackwood Society kind of got added later on. And I'm actually really glad I sent that letter, even though it doesn't. I mean, the whole reason I sent it was because I was trying to figure out what was going on with Gabe.
And that was a Twitter interaction. That did not happen on stream.
And it's created this like dark, crazy shit that I don't even know where it's gonna go.
If you guys don't follow our Twitter accounts, there are more and more things happening there that are actually pretty important.
We should put them up somewhere else. I'd like to do that too at some point. But yeah, I'm actually I don't regret that. I really like. I mean, I like the conflict. The conflict is what's super interesting. It's created conflict and something for Rose to really get to focus on, which I don't think that I did very well before. So I'm happy that I did it. It's gonna fuck Rose up, I imagine. Big time, but that's interesting.
Anyone else? Retcons?
I haven't. I think I'm the only one who hasn't had a prequel episode yet. So
that's true.
I guess you haven't. Yeah.
Technically, your prequel episode was the first appearance of Hal Melton.
But it was.
I guess
it's not like going back and making it a prequel. It just was.
And you already kind of did retcon some things with Hal.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did. That's true. Yeah. I did. So I guess I have nothing more. I can't think of anything else I want to retcon.
Yeah.
I've done quite a bit.
It feels like we can make adjustments as we go.
Yeah.
In some ways, it doesn't feel like we're stuck.
We talked about this a lot between season 2 and 3 because I was like, he's been a doubting Thomas, but like after what happened at the end of season 2, like I could not imagine him continuing to be a doubting Thomas.
Sure.
Without it being like a grating thing for the party to like deal with. Like,
Sure.
oh, he still doesn't believe us when his ribs were in the ground and this guy was like lording over him. Like, oh.
That could happen to anyone.
I just thought it would get so annoying, so I had to change it to something else that made sense, or evolve it into something else that made sense. Because
and that's a person like some players would be like, no, I could have fun playing with that, but like it made sense. Right. Like you presented a very compelling case for why you wanted to change that hindrance, and I had no problem with that. I think it made a lot of sense.
Yeah, I love making backstories for characters, and I continually evolve backstories. I would love to go back and follow Bogue from like age 16 to now, because in my mind he's been through so much that makes him who he is right now. That I I'd love to touch on. We have touched on it, but yeah, no, there's nothing I would like to go back to.
See, I'm a little anti-backstory. I know that seems super counterintuitive for like D&D.
Nah.
I'm kind of with you,
things.
actually.
Yeah.
But I think when I started playing RPGs, I got too caught up in building a backstory on my character, and I've realized now that what works for me is deciding what motivates my character now. Like, what motivates my character and how he feels about the people he is working with. And then build from that, and then I really like having the backstory be whatever is most convenient to make the current story a good story. Yeah. That's why I haven't gone into a ton of the backstory of, like, I think there's things that I've thought or written out or said to the group that I maintain it's not canon until it happens, as I said. Like,
sure.
There's things that have been mentioned on stream, but there's a lot that's still like blank areas in case it just ever would be more convenient.
And also, your characters can all be unreliable narrators as well.
Yeah.
Like, if we haven't seen it happen, that doesn't necessarily mean that it did.
What I like, though, about what you're saying is that I feel, whether or not you have a planned and thought out backstory, I feel like you are a fully developed character that has a story, which is... Because you do talk about things. I think that I totally agree with you. I think I got hung up on backstories at one point too, and it doesn't. It honestly is a hindrance sometimes.
Well, and it's like because I've done improv for years and years and years, and one of the things they talk about is sort of a Zen mentality to improv, where if you get caught up in thinking about what's happened in the scene, or what happened to your character, or what's going to happen, you're not in the moment. You're not playing the character as they are now.
Yeah.
And I think that on a greater scale is how I like to approach like role-playing characters.
Yeah.
I think it makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
All right, we are almost halfway through the questions, so let's, I guess, try and.
Okay, but hold on.
Speed it up.
Yes.
Wow. Oh, you have a question.
Oh, you have a yes or no question for me?
Well, this is for you guys out in chat.
Oh my.
At the beginning of season 4, is Beals still alive?
Oh no.
I love the way you phrased that.
He's gonna genie this up,
Yes.
but only for
I
a
don't
second.
know if that's a good answer.
For 1 second, and then she dies.
Right.
I also don't want to spoil things too much, but I want to.
No, I get it. You're repping the Beals Protection Squad.
Yeah.
I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah, D12 voting.
All right. Only 2 left. Only 2 left.
Okay.
Sparky the Fallen asks, what is one thing your character would change about themselves if they had the chance?
Your character would change?
Yeah, what one thing would your character change about themselves if they had the chance? And try, let's not that I hate, all of the in-depth, but let's try and keep it a little more succinct so we can move through these. So I want to get to some of the questions people are asking.
Okay. We could just go on forever.
Drop frames, oh no.
6 hours. Yeah, it's lagging for me too, actually.
How do I carry all these frames?
Whoa!
Stop dropping the frames!
Hold on, one
Go
second,
ahead and
guys.
answer. Go ahead and you can.
Should we answer if we're dropping frames?
Hello.
Yeah, we are dropping frames.
Aw, damn.
Okay,
All right.
What was the question?
So audio's still good?
Oh, fuck.
Audio should still be fine.
Okay, we're gonna
You're
keep
dropping a lot of frames.
All right, Dom is going to address the frame dropping, but we're going to answer with some audio here.
Okay. Oh, you can still hear the audio even though it's dropping?
Yeah.
I can't think of anything. I mean, we talked about last, I can't remember if it was the last session we played or the session before,
we talked about like what would you change? What does your character not like about themselves? This
Oh,
sort of
what you
similar
hate
to-
about yourself?
Yeah, yeah.
I've
This
been
is
posting
similar-
those on Twitter.
This
Yeah.
is similar to that, and I don't know. I said smoking, but like, I'm fine with it. Really, I don't think Howell would change that.
I don't think.
Hold on, some people lost sounds.
Oh, you lost sound.
Oh no! But BSB cares, guys. As long as BSB cares listening, I'm good with it.
Are we frozen? And
Let's all act like
We are.
we're jumping all over the place.
We are jumping.
Come on, floating internet.
Can you guys drop the stream here?
Like, get out of it?
Yeah, that might help.
Yeah, then we can't teach it.
Well, it's up there.
Yeah.
I can't read.
I mean, I can't.
You could just pause the stream.
I can't
I'm
read.
Helm. I mean, Helm can read.
Helm can read. What are you talking about?
All right. Are we?
That was my favorite moment of the season when you were like, "Hey, we don't think that way about you." I'm like, "Of course not."
Can people hear or see us?
It looks like they can hear you.
Say a very
I can
specific
pop
series
chat
of
on,
numbers and
that's
see if
right.
they repeat them back.
Okay.
I guess I can do that.
You know what? Let's just keep going.
We wanna start ourselves.
So yeah, anything that
Every
someone said they hated or would change about
Would
themselves.
change about themselves? But the character would change.
Yes. Anything
Not
your
I
character would change about
myself.
yourself.
I mean, I think that there's probably a lot Rose would change about herself, but she won't admit to that. Right now, she's perfect. She's fine. Everything is fine. And fuck you for saying otherwise.
I think is very much where Rose is.
I think Howell might change that. You wish he could get rid of the feeling he gets when he fights. He likes fighting too much. Like he's
I like
into
that.
he's into that.
Sure.
And he wishes he could not be into that.
Yeah, I had forgotten that was a aspect of your character that was built in from when Hal showed up again for the first time.
Right.
We talked
Yeah.
about that as a part of your character. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
I would say Gabe often, like, after he does something super brash and a little dumb in, like, the confidence scale, because he's just like, whatever, I can figure it out, and he kind of lives for the thrill of that. I think he often looks back and thinks, like, I should have thought that out a little more. But when he's in the moment, he doesn't, like, consider that.
Sure. What about you, James Bogue?
We can't hear it.
He said he wishes his guns were pink instead of regular gun colors.
That's a weird thing
Weird,
to say.
easy change.
Looks like we might have stabilized a little.
Well, I popped us out, so now we're just seeing chat.
Did you pause the stream action?
I don't know what I did. I just popped out chat and closed everything else.
Oh, okay.
Also, fuck
Are you
you.
trying to feed Dom?
It's an airplane. You gotta eat it.
Yeah, no, I don't eat airplanes. That's bad for people.
Don't eat airplanes.
Audio
gotta
went
eat
out.
that
What would Howell
airplane.
change?
Hal said he would change the way that he feels about fighting. He enjoys fighting a little too much. He has
Yeah.
a little bit too much bloodlust when he gets into the battle.
Yeah. He tries not to fight, but once he gets into it, he's really into it.
I didn't do anything, guys. I just stood next to a computer. What would James change? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I would change too much. The thing with James is he is the very tried and true character. I tried not to do too much with giving him special guns or two guns or whatever. Like, it's just one gun, single action, very clear motives. Like, he's very, as Megan was saying, he's got a very specific purpose in mind. So I don't know, there's not really much anything I would change, I think, on James.
James seems to be pretty cool with who James is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would like to be, like I've said before, he does wish he could be a little bit more welcoming of people coming in and stuff, but I think he's too old and too ingrained to really allow that to be a thing.
Can't teach him a new trick.
Yeah.
This question is from Average Human, who asked a couple questions in this point. Is there a possibility of seeing Jordan Caves-callarman make an appearance as a PC in a one-shot? If so, will he play roped? So if I was a PC, who would run it? I can't play in a one-shot of Wildcards because I run Wildcards.
I think you should run it and play in it.
I should run it and play as a PC?
You've actually done that before. You've run a game and played a character.
That's true. I hate it.
Before, yeah. So.
I would not play Roped, though. Roped is a...
What would you play? Do you have like an NPC that you would make a PC?
An NPC that I would make a PC?
Or would you just make a whole new PC?
I would make a whole new PC. If I was going to play, I would make a whole new PC.
Nicholas quits his job and becomes an adventurer.
I'm here to carry things and pass judgment on people.
I'm here to carry your burdens.
Yes.
You be the Lydia of Wildcards.
Yeah. But no, I don't, I can't really play and run it at the same time. That's too hard. It's too hard. Someone else wants to run it.
Next
That's
question.
what she said.
Average human. Will Howl keep the new bear look?
Oh.
Oh, because of the pelts and stuff?
Because of the pelts and the blocks you tied to your feet and the bear claw?
I mean,
Better than books, though. Better than books.
The bear claw's definitely staying. I don't know, it might be kind of cool to see him like walking through the desert wearing one of those bear pelts as well. Just taking on the moniker of being the new bear.
Didn't you throw off the bear pelts? And do you really want to have people like spreading the word that you're the new bear?
He literally told that to.
Oh my God. James could use that though.
The Wraith?
The Wraith, yeah. He told him. He was like, "What's your name?" I'm like, "I'm a new bear," because he didn't want to tell him his real name.
No, I forgot about that.
He did spread that.
You could get in with the bear.
And what did he call me? What was the name?
Oh,
Humbert.
Humbert, yeah.
Humbert.
It's a whole new name for you. Are you gonna go by that?
Yeah, but you're right. I did drop both the wooden razors and the pelts while I was chasing after the Wraith.
Yeah.
So I'd have to get new bear pelts. I kind of thought when you gave me that bear claw that part of it was like a bear, like there was like a part that was just like fur.
No, it's all metal. It just sold his look.
For some reason, I thought
for
it was
him,
like,
it sold the look.
Maybe I'll just get a bear pelt.
You can put a pelt on it if you want. I mean, if you want to customize it, that's up to you.
I'll think about it.
All right, so he's gonna think about it, Average Human. Another question from Average Human. Since the posse has to leave Denver now, can Roped make cameo appearances like every other episode? No,
Yes.
Probably not. I think Roped is in Denver. And what are you doing?
Go on.
Okay.
He's got a question. Use this next. Go.
I think Roped is in Denver, and he's very happy there. He has a shop, and he's doing all the things that he wants to be doing, and he's having a good time.
He's made his life.
Yeah. What's your question?
Okay. What moment in the show?
This is a yes or no question.
Has to be yes or no.
It is? Damn it.
Well, I'm not going to say
I don't have
otherwise
one
because he
anymore
seems
then.
really... Okay.
Oh.
I don't have one anymore then. I don't have a yes or no question.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
I'll think.
Okay, you think about it.
It's back.
But no, Roped lives in Denver. That's where he lives. There will be new people. This is a question for a change from Average Human. Since the Marshal has said Savage Worlds can handle pretty much any setting, which it can, are there plans to create a new show in a different setting between Wildcard seasons? I would love that, by the way. Also, can we make requests as to what setting? So, between seasons of Wildcards is my time to stop. It's my time to, running this show is amazing and I love it, but it also feels mentally like I'm constantly trying to squeeze the last bit of toothpaste out of a tube that you don't think any more toothpaste is in, but every time you keep getting a little bit more out and you're like, I can put off buying toothpaste.
I feel a little insulted here. I don't know what this means.
That's just what it feels like in my brain.
Think about it.
hard,
He's
yeah.
like a writer with the closest thing he has to a writer's room is us. And he can't like bounce plot off of us.
Nope.
Yeah. He constantly gets frustrated that he can't talk to me about it. He's like, God damn it, I have no one to talk to.
So the whole season, I'm like, is there any more toothpaste in here? Okay, there's a little more toothpaste.
You actually, before Grav, you joined the show, you guys did talk one time, and then he was like, fuck, now Grav's on the show.
Yeah,
no one to talk to.
And that was so cool too, because you told me so much stuff, and I wish I could remember it.
Yeah.
I knew everything that happened in the season.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything.
So between seasons, I probably will not be running it. We sort of do that with Prickly Tall Stag. We do a fantasy Savage Worlds game.
An ongoing game, yeah.
The original plan was to take Wildcards to different Savage settings, but I really like Deadlands Reloaded, and I think we're going to stay here for a while. If I had to pick another one to play in, though, I really, really, really want to play what?
BSBK, just whenever you're done.
Yeah, maybe. I really want to play East Texas University. I love the setting of East Texas University. I think these guys could knock the hell out of an East Texas University game.
That would be fun.
And I love it comparatively.
I don't know East Texas University.
It's basically it's a modern day a like small college town in Texas where everything is like just all hell breaks loose, supernatural wise. But all the PCs are super deep. You're just normal college students. You're not like gunslingers and magic users. You're a philosophy major who
Can already be like,
I know.
I played ETU at Gen Con. It was so much fun.
Yeah, I love horror, and I would love ETU.
I was gonna say that he likes horror, so pretty much anything that he would stick to long term at this point would probably be horror, which I'm totally cool with because I also like horror.
But for the time being, and noir would be fun. I almost did noir for our subathon one shot, but after looking at it, there were too many different setting rules that was going to be too much of an adjustment, so I decided to do just Deadlands Reloaded. But maybe in the future. Maybe in the future. But for now, just Deadlands, and I'm taking my break.
We did play Flash Gordon.
That's true. Scott Woodard ran Flash Gordon for us, which was cool. Average Human asks, is there a possibility of all of you, Marshall and Posse, to play another Western-influenced game like Firefly?
Oh God, Firefly! I love Firefly.
well,
You did. You kind of did.
I sort of played a
There's
Firefly.
Starfinder.
Starfinder was heavily influenced by Firefly, and you can watch our little 3-session mini campaign there. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that was very Firefly-esque.
I love playing with like genres.
Yeah.
I think it's so much fun.
I don't know. I think if we're playing a Western, though, we're playing Deadlands. Like, that's just what we do. We do
I
really well.
don't really see any reason.
This group.
Yeah, I don't see any reason to play any other. I mean, I feel like we can do whatever we want to do here. And I personally, I mean, I think I've mentioned this before, but I was not necessarily a Western fan before playing this, and now the horror and supernatural aspect of this is like, it's such a cool marriage. I really, really like it. So.
Vampire54 asks, was there anything in Coldwater Creek that you did not get to cover or do before it blew up?
Oh.
And I would like to start with this one because there were several things in Coldwater Creek that I did not get to. There were several plot threads. I gave myself a lot of plot threads in Coldwater Creek. Too many. But one that I was disappointed I never got the chance to develop was Prudence Beecher's growing obsession with Gabriel Pryor. Basically, the idea was, from the very first episode, when I played Prudence and was surprised to find Prudence had a crush on Gabriel Pryor, that was something that just came up in the moment. I was like, oh, that's fun, I'll play with that. But as the fear level went up in Coldwater Creek, and when fear levels increase, it starts to affect the mental capabilities of people in that area. I was going to have that obsession take more and more of a Fatal Attraction style like thing. And I got to hint at it with the Scions of Athena when she was like, I just wish I could catch these people, and I would just, I don't know what I would do.
I remember that. It was starting to get like pretty intense. And I was like, okay, you go home.
Right. But I had that on the back burner if the opportunity came up, and it just never did. There were so many other things happening. I didn't get a chance to play with it.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any unfinished business in Coldwater Creek?
I mean, I don't know. I definitely, Rosalie was definitely gunning for Harris as far as trying to get like dirt on him, and he's the top of the food chain there in Coldwater. But I don't know. I think everything kind of went like all over the place at that point. So I don't know.
Harris is still out there.
He is, but he's not top of the food chain anymore in the same way.
He's
just a big asshole.
I think it could have been fun to go deeper into a Gabe mayoral campaign.
That was one thing. That was another thing. That was a plot thread I kind of put out at the beginning of season 2 just to see if anyone picked it up, and we didn't really. And I enjoyed getting to play with it a bit. With
we got a good
character.
moment with it with Tyler's, and I think that was kind of setting up like Gabe being like, yeah, maybe one day I could turn this influence into something more here. And then when things blew up, it makes sense that it didn't happen anymore, but it was still fun.
Yeah.
And it would have been fun to like think about how that could have kept going.
Sure. You guys?
I didn't spend too much time in Coldwater. I was
You
only there
lived
for
your
like
whole life there.
well, not in the town itself. My ranch was a little farther away, so I only went there like on the weekends maybe. But
although now it's now if Coldwater Creek existed now, your ranch probably would have been like 6 blocks away from downtown.
Sure, yeah. But I usually kept to my ranch.
You lived up in the valley.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I honestly, the truth, I wish that I could have not necessarily repaired, but somehow got the Marshall on our good side. If I could somehow have
the Marshal of Coldwater Creek became an interesting character because there were some moments where you guys were kind of on the same side of things by necessity. Like during the Helpening, he was an ally to the group.
Yeah, he was.
Even in the Scions of Athena, he was the one who would not cast the deciding vote as to whether or not the Scions were going to really come after you guys in a major way. I think there was a sort of begrudging respect that the Marshal had for you guys despite everything. But now we'll never know.
Yep.
I mean,
he did.
He did.
I think Gabe just has an almost pathological rejection of established authority in like
I think that shows.
situations like that.
I think that shows.
I don't know.
Yeah, has that not come up?
I don't know that
I don't know if I've mentioned it.
Yeah.
Here's a question from BSB Care. To the posse, is there a favorite or most memorable monster, or one where you just wanted to say nope and get out of there?
Yep.
Well, I mean, the
Easy.
prairie ticks.
Prairie ticks.
Were pretty,
Prairie
like,
ticks,
what
right?
the fuck?
Prairie ticks? Cool. Next question.
Moving on.
Prairie ticks were fun, because as soon as I read those in the Marshal's Guide, I was like, well, I have to use these. But I have to find a really good time to do it. And then when I was doing the Twitter moments leading up to season 3, I just randomly did the one with the Sisters of Eminence.
Yeah.
And I had Sister Mary looking out the window, and I said a giant black bug, or a giant bug just jumped up through the, and I was like, yeah, they're surrounded by these things, and that, yes. And then in that episode, when they started attacking you, I had to double check the guide, because I was like, wait, they don't attack. It's just like if they hit with a raise, they go to, all right, yeah, it's in your mouth now. I was
I
like,
remember
cool.
when the first one hit, I think it was Hal.
Oh, it was definitely Hal.
Yeah.
And I was like listening, and it's like, okay, it hit him, it's gonna like bite him, and then he's gonna have to like pull him off or something. You're like, it crawls in your mouth. I'm like, what?
I know. It was like, wait, hold on, hang on.
Yeah.
No, though.
Not just that, but they have those hooks that pull your lips down so they can
Yeah.
crawl into your mouth. Those are great.
I got to bite 1.5 of the legend chip.
You did. That was gross.
Was Hal's Ranch called Twin Pines?
Sure.
It is now.
Yeah.
Any
Back to
other
the Future.
was it all
Lone Pine.
Was it all prairie ticks for everyone?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that
Probably.
comes to mind. I mean, that we would.
Nose ferrets were cool, but that's just because nose ferrets is just cute.
Fucked Up Eating Baby was pretty.
Baby, yeah, it was fucked
yeah.
up.
Even baby.
Also, the snakes were obnoxious, but not. I still think the prairie ticks were more.
Sure.
Yeah.
But the snakes, they just keep coming back.
And there's a second part of this question to me.
Oh.
Favorite monster to run, and are there any that you're looking forward to throwing at the posse now that they're close to the heroic or legendary level?
He's not gonna
yes.
tell. He's not gonna tell.
Yes, there are.
Looks like I need to get a bigger gun.
I think we're gonna need a bigger gun.
This one is from Mortem and Terratum, or Tony.
Hello.
Marshall, in the Night Train episode, you mentioned that you didn't expect the posse to board the train. How often do things go according to your plan? And if they don't, how do you manage to still put the bits and pieces together so they form a great story? I wish I could tell you. I don't know. I did not expect them to board the actual train because I didn't know where they were going to encounter the nose ferrets. Actually, by the end of the episode before that, it looked like they were about to just be overrun, and I was expecting. I mean, the good thing is in that module it specifically says they don't worry about resistance unless they are being actively kept from boarding the train. So I was just going to have some of them take some passing swipes at you guys and then get on the train. But no, I didn't expect you guys to immediately be like, let's get on the train. But it works. I mean, that was what the goal was, to get you on the train anyway. So I was like, all right, sure. We skipped a few steps, but yeah, let's get on the train. I'm glad that you think I put the bits and pieces together so they form a great story. It doesn't always feel like that behind the screen. Sometimes it feels like I'm barely keeping everything together. But I think these guys have such great instincts for story moments and things that they see. One thing that all of the players at the Wildcards table do really well is they'll pick out moments to suck at things. They will each find moments where their characters are like, here's a great thing my character can fail at. And that makes it a lot easier for me to not always have to be like, oh, how can I keep them challenged? This isn't hard enough. This isn't hard. Maybe I can make this harder, because they'll find their own things to struggle with. So I think that's really cool, and that helps me a lot. I have a really good table that supports me. Hopefully they feel supported by me as well. And I think that goes a long way towards me being able to keep the bits and pieces together when things go off the rails, which they frequently do. Very frequently.
Next question.
Next question.
Also liked throwing knives at the minefield. Fuck one.
Yeah, that was
cool
fun.
too.
That's great.
This question is from Cal Stonehoof. If the defining events within each member of the posse's lives had not happened, what would they be doing now?
Oh shit.
What's the defining event? I don't know.
Oh.
I mean, mine's pretty easy.
No, because you don't work on backstory.
Yeah. You're not the backstory producer.
Defining.
What if your dad had been a cool stand-up guy?
I wouldn't be the same character.
Right, right.
That's the question, I think.
That's really the question.
but
Like if
it's nonsensical. I mean, like the question's not nonsensical. Thinking what I would be if I hadn't like been raised watching my dad being like a schlub kicked around.
Pour some more.
Oh, it's salsa time.
It's just like it would be such a different character that who even knows?
Sure.
You know?
Maybe he would have gone into the clergy.
No. That still
maybe
seems
now.
unlikely.
Yeah. I don't. What would be? I mean, I guess. And the backstory that I created on Wiki one night, really what kind of got Rose to where she is stealing that book from Quentin O'Loughlin, the Hoyle's Book of Games. So if she hadn't done that, she wouldn't be a huckster. I mean, I think she would still be, because she'd already met the person who taught her to be essentially a prostitute. So she'd probably still do that. I mean, she'd still be trying to, pull one over on people and stuff, but I don't think that she would be a huckster.
This you can smell the.
Yeah.
It kind of tastes like marinara when you first taste it. You're like, whoa, and then you're like, oh, this is just lava.
So wait, let's get their answers first, and then we'll have you do this because we have unlocked the next ghost pepper salsa bit.
Great. Both can react.
Oh, both of them. Oh, good. Me too. All right.
Win.
I don't know. How it would be like if you didn't take that magical popcorn.
That's the thing.
Actually, I'm
what
going to use my
happened.
coin here.
Oh.
Was that popcorn cursed
What popcorn?
that he took as a child?
Oh,
The popcorn that you took as a child, was the popcorn that Howell Melton received as a child cursed?
Yes.
No. Easy.
Cool, great.
But now you're cursed.
Yeah.
But we've had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, the popcorn wasn't cursed.
I can't
You
be
were
cursed.
given a curse, though.
I can't be cursed unless the popcorn was cursed, so that's how curses work, and I'm good.
Bits
Beals
for the
protection
bills.
Thank you for the
Protection squad.
Bogue, honestly,
Remember, there's a bit steal.
Bogue would probably he probably would have.
What was the defining moment of Bogue's life the loss of deception?
It has to be, right?
Or was it the war?
The war was because deception happened after the war. He became a.
Thank you.
He became a. Shut up!
James Bogue is talking.
I'm always the last one, and then everyone is always like tuned out and just like, oh, hey, what's going on? Anyway, hi guys, Dom Zook. I play James Bogue, the gunslinger.
Someone's gonna clip that for sure.
Oh, I hope so. The war was probably, I would say, the defining moment for Bogue, because he would not have become a gunslinger and a bounty hunter after that point. So, had he not been, they can't help it.
Sure, no, we're listening. Please keep going.
Yeah. Had he not been captured in the war, I mean, he probably still would have been serving in the military. He probably would have gone on
Career.
to do,
Career soldier. That would be a very different James Bogue.
It would be a very different James Bond.
All right. Well, I think that answers that. So let's start with.
Go ahead, do whatever you want.
Let's start with Jordan Pridgeon.
Okay,
So this is another taste of chaos.
so I just gotta.
So have a big ol' scoop.
And then you're gonna talk about your favorite
Oh
moment.
my God, that's a huge scoop.
I
Is
love
there what should I
You're talking about your favorite moment from all 3 seasons.
from all
favorite
three-
moment from all 3 seasons? That's such a hard question.
Just pick
Yeah.
one.
Pick something from earlier, because we've
Okay.
mostly been talking
Yeah.
about this season. Get ready for it.
Thank you for the bits, guys.
One of my favorite moments from the whole thing was one I planned on happening with Gabe. I said I wasn't gonna react, so I'm not gonna react.
Have another one.
Yeah, if it starts to wear off, you have to have another
You
one.
gotta keep going.
Yeah, I planned on Gabe having a gun to someone's head and being like, there is no God, and then just shooting him. And I got to do that.
Whoa!
And it felt terrible, but also pretty cool.
Wait, when did you do that?
I don't remember that.
That did happen.
It happened when we rushed into the place with Sally Trenton. And we had to kill all those people.
Yes.
We're trying to attack.
Make that face your next, buddy.
I know.
We were trying to attack Sally Trenton.
No.
She's not responding to it.
No, it's not a response. That didn't count. That
Those
was
are
blink.
tears. Those are regular tears for the emotion.
There was like one person left, and I was finally like, there's no God. And I was like, yes! Boom!
Squad goals.
Nailed it. There's been lots.
Thanks for
honestly,
it.
Thanks
there
for
have been
editing.
tons of moments I
Appreciate
fucking love in this show. But that, yeah, I don't know. That was just a cool
No, the bit! Oh no! He committed.
You know, like,
Oh God.
I just like, why not, like, doing cool things is, like, pretty awesome. Ooh, that's a lot of salsa.
Oh no! We don't have any milk.
I'm out of beer, too.
Are you done? Is that
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
You guys didn't get milk.
Well done. Well done. He does love it. He loves it so much, he downed it.
We kind of talked to you guys.
That was too much.
There's whiskey right there.
Oh,
Put the fire out with whiskey. All right, let's ask another question before I do mine.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
This is also from Cal Stonehoof. And the question is,
no. Now it burns.
what setting or scenario would the posse or marshal like to see within the alternate history of the Deadlands if they were able to write one? So if you guys were able to write a setting or scenario within the alternate history of the Deadlands, from what you know about it, what would you think would be interesting to look at historically? And we'll start with Dom.
Yeah.
I would.
You know what I think would be funny?
I would love to see more on the war, probably. Like we said, I have not read much about the history, so I don't know too much. I know words and everything. I know like the maze and all that stuff, but I don't know a whole lot about that. So I couldn't say. I would say maybe something along with the railroads and all of that. And then just the war in general, because it's fascinating to me. The war's still going on, and there's still that they play that up.
There's an uneasy piece. At this
It's a
point.
Cold War.
Yeah, during Deadlands Classic, the war was still going on, basically.
Yeah.
And also during Deadlands Classic was the first instance of the rail wars. So that's all that stuff is covered in there.
Yeah.
I would like to read more about that.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's what I'd be interested in.
Gareth?
Guys, this is still fucking tearing my face
It gets
off
worse
now.
as it
Pass
goes.
it over here.
There's no.
I'm gonna pour some.
So this, if we wrote one,
Yeah, what would you want to look at historically if you were gonna write something?
who's the president of the country?
Well,
Of the part of the country that we're in?
Well, there is no president. You're in the disputed territories right now. So both the Union and the Confederacy lay claim to the disputed territories.
I have no idea then, because I don't know enough about Deadlands because I'm banned from reading about it.
Sure.
But I saw this book when me and Don went to a game store, and it was like, Dracula as the president of the United States. And it's the Wild West. And I'm like, yep, that's what I want to see. That's the session I want to play in. Or whatever happens in that world.
All right.
So
yeah, I think
make
you're
that
right.
happen.
Be a speaker.
All right. Cool. Megan?
I mean, honestly, they've covered so much. Like, I've not read any of it too, but just what I've seen.
Exhaustively.
Yeah,
Like,
it blows my. It's impressive. It's super impressive how much they've covered. I mean, every part of the United States has some
Shane
aspect.
and the crew behind Wildcards have done
Behind Wildcards?
Behind Deadlands have done so much work and clearly love this kind of like Western Americana history. Like It's very clear.
It's super clear. What I think is cool too is whenever we were getting ready for season 3, and I remember, I don't know where we were. I think we were driving, like we were in Oklahoma or something. We were driving somewhere, and I was like, "Oh, let's look up some information about Denver in 1880." And I found all this stuff, and I mentioned it to Jordan. He was like, "Yeah, that's in the book." And I was like, "Oh my god!" Like they did research. I mean, they took little historical events and wrote things based upon them.
Like the Brown Palace.
The Brown Palace is a real place. Yeah, it kind of blew my mind. So as far as that goes, I don't know what I could possibly think of that they haven't done. But I think within that, it would be interesting to get sort of like what we've done, but to get down into more like the little things. You know, like what's happening with this one little town. How does it affect someplace in North Dakota? I mean, kind of like what we saw with Denver or Coldwater Creek. Also, although I know there's some about this, I would be interested to see what's going on in the rest of the world. I mean, I know there's rippers, but like what's happening in China?
Which isn't technically the same thing.
Or Africa.
Well, actually, so it's very specifically, the Reckoners chose the American West as their ground zero because of all of the factors that kind of lined up to make it an ideal place for them to do this. So there are ripples of things happening elsewhere, but ground zero is the American West.
This time, I mean, America was sort of self-contained in the sense it wasn't out affecting the rest of the world, but it would still be interesting to see how, if there were some ripples, like especially to Africa.
There are source books for Canada and Mexico of things that are happening across the border.
I think that kind of stuff.
A little known thing that they very much gloss over: Britain has actually reclaimed a little bit of the northern United States during the long drawn-out war.
Like one of the maps.
They invaded from Canada and just carved out a little bit of the north, and that's occupied by Great Britain, which I think is really cool.
That makes sense.
For you?
Something that's always fascinated me, and I was always interested in just like alternate histories of this sort of thing.
All the blimps.
Is just, but just like exploring the South, the Confederate States of America as a continuing sovereign nation.
Sure.
And I think that's an interesting concept and an interesting, like, let's look at like how that would have developed, how it would have gone differently from, modern United States mentality. And I'm sure a lot of that probably is in
there's a lot. They cover a lot of that.
But I always think that's a very interesting, as a sort of borderline Southerner myself, I've always found that kind of an interesting thing to think about.
Sure.
Las Vegas. Somebody said Las Vegas.
Oh, I would love Las Vegas.
That would be, yeah.
All right, it's my turn,
Fallout
right?
New Vegas.
Yes.
All right, best moment, like,
Can you hand me my Coke?
Big old scoop. Oh, yeah, baby, get that.
And if you can open it, please.
Oh.
Or actually, no, I can.
All right.
So he's had this before.
Yeah, he has.
My favorite moment. Oh God, right away.
Don't worry,
I
it gets
got
worse.
it.
I really enjoyed the Duff Bullet scene for a lot of reasons. One of which was the ridiculousness of the name. And everyone being on board with the canon of, his grandfather invented a bullet. That's true. That's a true thing that happened. But also, as that scene played out, and other people at the table started playing the rest of the Bullet Gang.
Yeah.
And them being like, with Duff being so hilariously over the top, caustic, and violent towards his gang members, and them being like, I just bought you a beer. I don't understand what I did to make you this upset at me, Duff.
That was like the one time we all come in as NPCs for some reason. We were like, we just felt the moment. We were like.
But not the last time, because let's not forget the young man in Coldwater Creek who could not stop having marital relations with a blackberry bush.
What? I don't think I was there for that.
No,
You were not.
You were not.
You were.
Played by Dom Zook.
What?
The very first time we met Doc Hollingsbeck, he was finishing up with a man who had a genital rash.
Because he kept
fucking a blackberry bush. And throughout that scene, that young man kept coming back and being like, oh, it happened again. I tripped and fell into the blackberry bush. And I forgot about that until just now. Yeah. But that was
great.
fun. Dom just kept kind of just jumping back into it with it, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's those little moments. It's those little moments that really make it all worthwhile.
It's funny. It's funny for.
Are you crying because of blackberry fucker?
It was.
For a dramatic game, we have a lot of these little funny little moments.
We do.
That's- I enjoy that. Though.
But I will say, that's one of my favorite things about you guys as players. Is that we have those funny moments, we have those like silly things we do, but you guys are always willing to come back with me to grounded horror or drama or intensity. Like, I really appreciate your flexibility with that.
I think
It
we
lets us
all
play
to an
more
extent
things.
realize, like, the more serious we take things, the cooler it feels when things like go right.
Sure.
You know, like
Sure.
if this is just a funny farce,
Yeah.
then there's only so much emotional weight you can put into anything.
Yeah.
But if like we take it kind of seriously, when we do have a town burned down around us, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and it's cool too because sort of like what you're saying, we've all agreed upon that. Like that's sort of a unsaid agreement that we've made with each other, and because of that, we can get to those moments, and they are more meaningful because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you guys doing that.
We have a toast.
A toast, raise your glasses.
The last one.
Vampire 54. To failing at just the right time.
To
Failing at just the right time.
Set them up and knock them down. Sweet Jesus.
I guess I need another one.
Oh,
of
this will come back with a vengeance later on.
Yeah, that's what it does.
All right, another question from Emperor Riptide. For Rose,
Yes.
and you don't overthink this one. Because of how dangerous
what I
it is
do.
to use your skills around people and just using them in general, do you ever use them in non-life-threatening situations, like right out into the hills away from people and practice? How much experimenting and testing do you do?
That's a cool question. I like that. She would have to. You okay over there?
I actually don't. So
Thank you.
Of course.
you say that. The way that you've played Rose, I kind of see it. A lot of the times, the first time she uses
Sure,
these
sure,
abilities, it
sure.
happens in the extremity of combat.
So, yes, I agree. But my thought process here, first of all, to be able to find these new spells, she has to essentially study this book. That's how she discovers a new spell. And then I think that it's probably different practicing these spells on nothing over a person. So that's sort of my thought process. I imagine, I don't know, she's very...
It's also dangerous to practice because you literally put
Yeah.
yourself in danger doing it.
Right. I don't know that I think she does it a whole lot, but I think there's because I think Rose is very kind of brash in that sense. Like she's arrogant, you know, so she's kind of like, yeah, I got this. And then, you know, it either works or it doesn't. But yeah, I will also say, I forgot where my brain was going. Along those lines, I didn't play very well with remembering that people can't see me using those spells for a while, so I don't think I thought about it like that before.
I bet what would make sense to me, it's like if you are the sort of person who is like trying to be a professional poker player, you can like play out fake poker hands without other people you're competing against to like get an idea of the scenarios and work on your understanding of like the levels and the probabilities.
Sure.
It's still not going to quite simulate what it really is when there are people working against you and you're like betting on the whole thing. But I bet there are like ways that she can practice and like develop her skills without as seriously putting herself in danger. Sure.
Yes, and I do, like, Rose is not stupid. She's just she's naive.
Yeah.
So there's the elements of that. Like she's you know, she's going to do what it takes to keep herself safe as much as she can, but she's going to make mistakes because she is arrogant.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Cal Stonehoff, I love the idea of Las Vegas being like a holy site for hucksters.
Very dangerous thing for hucksters, though, to congregate in one place. That makes them prime targets for the agency and the rangers.
Yeah, it does, but I
Another
like that
question
idea.
from Emperor Riptide for Bogue. Despite your death wish, do you have a plan for after you defeat the Baron? And what would you do?
I like that question.
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
Should we answer it for him?
Yeah, let's answer it for him. I think.
I like how you guys didn't even, you just started going before you even.
We gotta get on the bit. Get on the bit.
Yeah,
Easier,
there's
but
3 times per bit. This is well over 3 times per bit.
Oh no, you keep going.
You gotta keep going.
You can get up to 12. I mean, you can keep going. You just got to hit the right number.
High score,
it stops
baby.
being
You
funny
stop at
after a
10,
while.
but then it gets funny
You
again.
gotta get the highest
You get to
score.
12.
Yeah.
It's funny again.
The real goal is to get past when it gets funny again and it gets
For
not
James
funny.
Bogue,
It's the rule of
despite
comedy.
your death wish.
Are we doing it now? Is this the bit? Who knows?
Yeah, I think he would probably get out of the game. I think this is too intense for Bogue. Not that it's too intense, but I think he's put a lot on the line to get the Baron out of the picture and to take him down, and I think he's sacrificed himself. And the death wish is there because he's ready to die to get this done. And I think if he gets it done and he doesn't die, like, he's just going to take himself out of society, basically. He's just going to go away and be a mountain man or something. He's just not going to do anything.
He's going to have to fight the rest of us, I guess, if that happens. I can see us being like, no, James, no. What are you? We don't leave.
Okay.
Good.
No.
Interesting follow-up, though. So would you retire Bogue as a character if Bogue takes out the Baron?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that's probably enough. I mean,
Yeah.
Bogue is not necessarily. I can definitely see him being an adventurer, because he's built like a fighter, like in a traditional sense. But I don't see him with the constitution necessarily to go out. He has no desire to go out and discover new things or even help people necessarily. Like this was an intense situation for him.
So after Bogue takes out the Baron, he's out.
Fuck chaos.
Yeah.
What if Bogue doesn't have a choice?
Well, that's the other thing.
Yeah. That's right. That is the other thing.
Rose, yell.
Bogue has a contract.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bogue said he was going to be here through the end of this campaign arc.
That's none of my business.
This is a question from Shmanamana. What was the process like for the players when creating their characters? Was there a period of trial and error, or are these the original characters that each player had in mind? You can actually see a lot of that process in the VOD on YouTube of our Session 0 for this show. Session 0 was us talking about the world and building characters. Hal was not there, Gaurav was not there at that point. Jordan Pridgeon was not present for that episode.
But we had done a lot of
Yes.
Talking, yeah.
We did a lot of talking ahead of time. Although still, you guys came in with a couple different. You had a couple different concepts, I think.
So did I.
You had a couple different concepts. I think Talene had a couple different concepts.
I had a few concepts, but I went with my first one.
Right.
Especially because after I sort of like put my concept out there for it, Meghan was kind of like, oh, hey, our concepts overlap a bit, but instead of that being a conflict, what if we make our characters partners?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was sort of a turning point. That was like, oh yes, this fits. This is like a great, yeah.
Yeah, we got real excited about that. We were like inside. It's like, oh, and then this, and then that. And
I had a journalist character I was thinking about doing.
Yeah, a yellow journalist, right?
Yeah.
And what was your other? I think you had a couple different ones.
I
right?
can't remember. Thank you, Trinidad.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I can't remember the other character.
I think you had a few. Like, I feel like you had like 5 or something. You were like, I could be this or this or that or that. But it was like Gunslinger was the one that I felt like, I feel like you kept circling back to that one. And I was like, I really think you should hone in on that one because that seems to be the one that's really grabbing
I think I probably looked at, Mad Scientist, I looked at Huckster, and to me, I wanted to ground. I mean, gunslingers. I grew up loving westerns and stuff, and I loved the concept of the gunslinger, the lone gunslinger, and everything. And so I was like, I'd love to play that character. It's not typically the character I play, And yeah, I don't know. I didn't really get a big vibe. Like if I had to rebuild, I'd probably do like a Mad Scientist or something like that. Those are really fun, but.
I very much enjoyed your Mad Scientist from our subathon one
that
shot.
was really fun.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think like you said. I think Bogue was pretty clear. I actually played a Bogue character. I think his name was Jack Bogue in a marathon, the Marathon Deadlands that Nick ran.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it was again a similar. He was a Magnificent Seven character. that I had built based off the Chris character in Magnificent Seven, and but I didn't really build. Oh, it was only he failed doing that gig, which is what I built Bogue off of, obviously. But I remember coming back to that when you asked me, and I was like, oh, you know, I really like that concept, but there's other things, and we were talking about what everyone else was doing in the party, and I was like, I think I could.
There was an opening for.
There was an opening for a gunslinger.
I mean, I'm damn glad somebody was the gunslinger because it's like
It's so iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like it's the instinct to be like, let's buck the trend on things, but you forget that like you need the archetypes. You need the people who are the core of genres, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like Bogue is so much like sort of the I want to say moral, but he's more like the drive core of the group in a lot of ways. And it's like having that is such an asset.
In a way, I've tried to play him kind of like the everyman to your guys's you know, amazing abilities and stuff. And I think that you sort of inherited that role because the three of us have come to you almost with powers, all three of us with powers, right?
Yeah.
And you were kind of, when you first came in, you're like, whoa, wow, okay. But then you've gradually been able to build up other abilities. So so I was happy to hand that kind of and have you take that on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I think you need a little bit of archetypes to carry on.
And I'll say you guys built your characters out from the get-go, and you laid out pretty clearly what they were going to be like, and I feel like you guys have stepped into and inhabited those characters really well.
They definitely developed.
I would say one thing that's shifted about my initial conception of Gabe, and I think this is largely Megan's doing in kind of bringing in the duo element of it, and I like it better this way, is that like my very first initial concept was sort of a Boyd Crowder, like someone who was trying to build a cult of following around him.
Sure.
And I moved away from that to being like, oh, this is just the persona he's taken on right now.
Yeah.
Like if like the new Fallout game, the like leader, like the major villain of that is like sort of the direction I initially thought of Gabe as. But I think the way it came out, like more of like a Bonnie and Clyde type, like roguish con man kind of thing, was a much more fun and sustainable and interesting direction to go with that.
And Howell, obviously, you made Howell form.
I built Howell to be an easy character to play for a guest to come on and play. And I remember being surprised when I was like, hey, you know, when you want to come on, and you were like, I was like, what character do you want to make? And you were like, I founders want to play Howell. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. So you did ask me for, like, I don't know if you asked me this or I gave it to you, about the reason he's joining the party. And it was like, well, what would his worst nightmare be? And it was him losing his wife, his whole ranch, everything got burned down. And you were like, give me some more specifics. And all I gave you was that there was a lady in white who said that this needs to be done for progress.
Right.
That's all I gave you. And like the Sisters of Imminence came just from that. Just from that like 2 sentences about it, which is so cool. Like just that small thing building up into this huge thing is just amazing.
I was choosing between.
Far Cry's what I meant, yes.
Oh,
I
that makes more
was
sense.
choosing between a mad scientist and then the huckster.
Yep.
And they were going to be Irish no matter what because I really wanted to
nice.
get back to my Irish accent.
And you wanted to challenge yourself, too.
I did, yeah. Actually, that's why I picked the huckster and the fact that she's a prostitute and all that stuff, because playing out sexuality in general and playing a character that, as a female, that is a sexual, pretty character is something that I have a hard time with because there's a stigma tied to that. There's a stigma to like, oh, you just want to be a pretty character that I've sort of shied away from because I didn't want to be shoved into that stereotype. And I took the opportunity to play a character that talks, that has an Irish accent, that deals with a lot of sexuality, and those are 3 things that are very difficult for me. And I really wanted to challenge myself. And for the most part, I've been really pleasantly surprised by my ability to inhabit her. It definitely took me some time. The first season, I left a lot of episodes kind of disappointed in myself. And really, second season got better. Third season's been the one where I left episodes going, I'm getting there, which is a big deal. And that's really why I chose Rosaline over being a mad scientist, but I almost went mad scientist.
Yeah.
I was very excited by that concept.
And all of that answers Cal Stonehoof's question, which is, what were the posse's alternate choices for characters?
Yeah, pretty much.
So there you go, Cal. We did it.
It was either a yellow journalist or I was also thinking about an alcoholic doctor.
An alcoholic doctor.
House direction.
Sure.
Raise your glasses.
Oh, that's raised.
Tyrannodon would like us to toast to the Wildcards, now known as the Pepper Chuggers.
Some of us.
What? To the Wildcards, now known as the Pepper Chuggers.
Set them up and knock them down, but make sure it's beer and not salsa.
Oh no, it's also.
And thank you to the lunchroom. Thanks for the raid, guys.
Hey, thank you very much.
Welcome, welcome.
We're talking. Welcome.
We're just chatting.
We're having a campfire chat.
What you thinking about?
Eating ghost pepper salsa.
Be a speaker. Yes, I think the confidence from all of it. Yeah, it definitely. I'll tell you along those lines, like we
Megan's
said.
just answering questions from chat now.
I'm sorry.
More questions.
No, it's not a question. He's just made a statement. But I think we've said this before. But we had a meeting and we talked about all of these. Like we talked about our characters and what we wanted and what maybe we weren't getting and all of these things. And I don't know, something between season 2 and 3, like all this stuff happened and
we keep checked in. We check I like
really
to check in with the
yeah.
players and see where they're feeling about the characters. They check in with each other. They check in with me. Like we try and keep communication open so that we're all heading in the same direction, because that's what I want to do. I want the story to be heading in a direction that everyone is happy with.
well, it's nice to be able to go like, I don't like this, or I really
Sure.
like this, or whatever, with anybody. Like, I feel like I can be like, hey, this, let's play with this. Like, I know Jordan, Dom, and I had a conversation at the beginning of this season, or midway through the season, just talking about how our characters were interacting, things like that. I mean, it's great. I've had conversations with Gaurav. It's great. Anyway.
The husband would like to ask, which real historical figure from the Wild West, whether mentioned in Deadlands canon or not, would the posse members like to meet in the Weird West? And for the Marshal, which one would he like to play as an NPC?
Oh my.
So oh, it's easy? Okay, which real character?
Wait, which real character?
Yeah. Well, you said this is easy. I want to know what you were thinking about. What were you thinking?
I was going to say Bixby Jones.
Bixby.
Oh yeah, the fake
deputy that I
Marshal.
made up.
But he's dead.
But this was like, I thought this was like a.
No, this is a real historical figure from the Wild West. Would you like to meet in the Weird West?
Bixby Jones might be a real person.
He might be, but he's dead.
I don't know then.
I know my answer.
Go ahead.
Oh, go for it.
I would say.
I know my answer.
That's how you do it.
Turnabout.
Yeah. Get that good.
But no, let him talk.
We like each other.
I would say I guess Jesse James probably wouldn't end up being the outlaw he was, because he was sort of a reaction to fleeing the South after the fall of the South. But I do think Jesse James, like as a character, was like one of the first like American celebrities in a sense.
Sure.
For that, I think he would be an interesting character and would be active around this time.
That's a good answer. Dumb.
I would say probably Wyatt Earp,
That's what I was
just because he's such a convoluted figure. I think Bogue would have related to that.
Sure.
As former lawman trying to do things and just kind of getting caught up and stuff, but also being super flawed and.
At this point, Earp is still a lawman in
Yes,
Dodge Dodge City.
Yeah. But yeah, that was. That's a very similar feeling to me. And then, if you go through the sort of. The Tombstone-esque Wyatt Earp of the dogged guy trying to take down all the cowboys and everything like that. And it's like, that's a very familiar arc to Bogue. But
sure.
Yeah.
Somebody said Doc Holliday, but along those lines, I agree. I think it would be cool to run into Wyatt Earp, because he is such a iconic character. It'd be interesting to play with. It's always interesting to take characters that have such a history or mythology even around them and kind of see what they're really like.
Yeah.
It's always more interesting to see the human aspect.
Sure.
We make those people superhuman. What's human? What are the flaws?
Yeah.
Which we would see here in Deadlands. I think.
Bastion says Bat Masterson. We did talk about Bat Masterson because theoretically, I think Bat Masterson was in Denver at the time that we were in Denver.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but or very nearby, like within a year or so.
Yeah, it was not at the time that you guys, because we looked that up afterwards.
Yeah. But very close, very closely connected. So it wouldn't have been difficult to connect Bat Masterson to us, but we didn't get it. I mean, it's why.
Sure.
Probably Dr. Emmett Brown. I think
Dr. Emmett Brown.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys have met Dr. His name is Prof. Brown.
Brown.
I don't think I met him.
You never met the Prof?
No.
That was all season.
Oh, it was season
One. And a little bit of
He was in
two.
season
I think he
two.
was in the episode where Tyler was here, though.
And
right?
he was in the Scions of Athena, yeah, but you never interacted with Prof. Brown.
I didn't.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And his name, he's kind of like Dr. Emmett Brown.
Sure.
He's not Dr. Emmett Brown.
Which one would, a little more mad.
Which one would I like to play as an NPC? I mean, Doc Holliday would be fun, but I would just be doing a Val Kilmer impression. So, and I sort of got to play with that a little as the Wraith, anyways. Honestly, there's a couple politicians that are around. I can't say a whole lot. There's a politician that was a real historical figure that now has a different occupation.
Was it President Dracula?
That would be really fun for me to play.
And you can't tell us?
I can't tell you.
Oh.
All right, well, bring it up next season then.
And I probably won't. It's probably never going to come up in this campaign.
So we just never get to know.
You're never going to know
what
in
is.
this campaign.
We just never get to know.
Chat, throw out politicians.
And then,
Vampire 54 knows.
honestly-
You can't say in chat because we'll just be able to read it.
honestly, though, all of the NPCs that exist only in the Weird West, the major NPCs that exist only in the Weird West, are so freaking cool that I don't feel that, like, just to get to play with some of these guys, that's plenty for me.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll move on. The husband asks, ridiculous question time. If you had to letter swap one phrase in Deadlands, would you choose fanning the hammer to become hanning the fammer? Or fate chip to become cheat fip? Or would there be a third option?
It's a one
handing the fammer.
Handing the fammer?
Maybe Wadoshock.
Wadoshock?
Yeah.
I would change Fate's favored to Fate's favored.
Ooh, yeah, little transposition.
What
Get
about,
it? Get it?
what about paddle us instead of saddle up?
Paddle us.
Yeah.
That sounds BDSM-y.
Paddle us.
I didn't think about it. I was just trying to make the letter switch. Paddle us, everybody.
52 card fick up. That's a good one. That's a good one,
pretty good
Bastion. I like that one. I'm gonna go with that. That's my answer.
52 card pickup.
Next question
52 card
from D20 Secret Society.
Oh, hi.
Is there a chance of seeing Charlie Shadow in a future episode? I'd love to see him interact with James Bogue. And then there is his Railroad Union Blue connection. Any guest that has come on the show whose character was not killed, and which I believe includes all of them.
Yeah, we don't know that any of them. We don't know that
Not the
Tyler's-
prequels.
Oh,
The prequel guests.
The prequel, Sadie didn't die.
No. The prequel ones. In the...
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
But we were
in the mines.
sure.
Yeah, those guys
yeah.
died.
That was
Yeah,
different.
they died. But those were that was Nick Levy's character Beecher is dead. He was bit by a rattlesnake and he died.
Which... Real life.
Wow. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Weird.
Well, he wasn't. Well, no, he wasn't there for the second episode because he got bit by a snake. So we just made his character get
Bit
killed by a
snake.
rattlesnake.
Oh, that's just. Oh, okay.
It was in
That's why.
extremely poor taste.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Not one of my proudest moments. But I think it was all in good fun. Any of them could come back at any point. I would love to have those guys on. Zeke's character is dead.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, all those
We
guys
could
are
have
dead.
used.
Zeke's character is dead.
Hashtag Zeke lives.
No. Hashtag Zeke dead.
No, Zeke's alive. His character.
Zeke is very much alive. But yeah, I would love to have them come back at some point. That would be fun. We'll see. But I don't necessarily see the need to bring them back when I have a full table. I love to bring them back in if one of my regulars is going to be gone. But yeah, if I got these guys, then why have more?
And maybe new guests with new pieces.
R.I.P. Alfred. Yeah, poor Alfred.
Alfred.
He got all his teeth pulled out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you wanted to use a bucket for teeth.
Another question from Shmanamana. This probably isn't an issue for your group, seeing as you're adults, but how would you recommend keeping players on track and focused?
Oh, we definitely get unfocused sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. So there are different methods, and I recommend switching between switching between them a lot. So the most immediate and I think the best way to keep your players interested is figure out what your players are interested in doing in the game by talking to them.
Yeah.
Ask them like, what kind of things do you want to do, and get a feel if they're like, if they want to have social interactions with characters, if they want to get to explore new things, if they just want to fight all the time, if they want to find treasure, whatever it is, know what it is they want and throw them those bones during the session. Like, always make sure you know what it is that your players at the table want and give them those things. That's the easiest way to keep them focused. Also, and this is really hard for a lot of GMs. It's hard for me. It was for a very long time, and I still struggle with it. You also have to let go of your expectations of what you feel something needs to be. Like the vibe, especially if you're doing a horror game, the vibe is never going to be as intense as it is to sit and watch a horror movie that's like expertly directed and the tension is crafted.
You can't
Someone is
maintain
going to
that.
get up to go to the bathroom. Someone's going to need to get a drink. Someone's going to make a joke to lighten the mood. Like, it's going to happen, but you can still salvage most of the tone and theme that you want within that. It's creating something new collaboratively with your players. It's not going to look like what it does in your head. Yeah. But if you kind of let go of your expectations of what focus and concentration should look like, and kind of create a new baseline based on your table, it'll be a lot easier in your head as a GM.
Yeah, you definitely can't, I mean, you can't force your players to be something they're not.
Right.
You're all kind of working together in that.
And also politely asking them. I mean, there are times at the table when like one of these guys is having like a moment with an NPC and like two other people will be having a side conversation. I'll ask them like, hey guys, hold on, because we're doing that. And everyone's cool with it. Like,
I will
on
say
the whole.
though, that another thing that I think makes that doable is that we sort of set up that precedent from day one. Like, Jordan very much took a hand in
Thank you for the bits.
Oh, thank you for the bits.
Thank you.
In saying this is what I want at the table. These are my expectations, and we all agreed. I mean, we're all on board with that.
Yeah, setting clear expectations from the get-go.
Yeah,
honestly, a lot of it comes down to communication from the GM to the players and vice versa. Like, being available for your players, like if they're having issues with things or they're not liking where something's going, like making yourself available. Feeling those open lines can do a lot to help people be more focused and present at the table.
Yeah. I think one of the very first things you said, which was like, I remember exactly how you said it, but like basically giving even attention to the people at the table is like super important, because there's definitely like people who have personalities that will goldfish out and take as much of the time in the game as possible. And if as a GM you're not willing to be like, okay, that's great, let's give this person a time to shine, then the people who aren't that person can really fall into a, why am I playing this game? Okay, it's not my turn, let's text, let's do something else.
Yeah.
That's one thing too that's been nice here. I don't know entirely how this has worked out, but we spend a lot of time where like it's just on you two, or it's just on us, and I'm always engaged in what's happening with you guys. Like, I want to see what's happening, and I don't know, because it affects me, because I'm invested. I don't know, but there's something that has been really good about some magical way this has all turned out, that I don't tend to I don't check out when other things are happening.
Well, that's, you guys are all enmeshed in the same story. Like, you have your own separate character beats that you're working on, but largely you're all working towards the same point. So if Rosaline is off somewhere by herself talking to like someone from the Explorer Society, what she discovers affects all of you guys. And I make an effort to like put that stuff into where it applies to everybody, so there's reasons to pay attention. This is a question from Average Human, which we sort of already touched on, but we can answer one part of it. So the question is for Jordan Pridgeon and Meghan Caves. One of my favorite scenes was the minefield scene before the prairie bugs came in. Was this moment pre-planned or spontaneous? Also, as someone who's married, I found that moment totally relatable. So I will say, with the exception of a couple of the prequel episodes, we don't pre-plan moments. All of that stuff is spontaneous. The prequel episodes, we have to do a little bit of that, because it's like, hey, I need you guys to get to this point in order for things to make sense in the timeline.
Which is hard.
As a player, had no idea if there were mines or not. I
None of us
decided that Gabe thought there were no mines and was pretty confident about it. And overconfidence is my major hindrance. So I was like,
Made sense.
"Yup, I'm rolling in on it." But if I had walked out and he had been like, "All right, roll 2d6," and I had just died, I would have been like, "Yep, sure, that makes sense."
Yeah, no, we didn't plan that at all. There was no planning of that. That's one thing that I will say. Like Jordan said, whenever I found out the kind of character he was looking at creating, and since he wasn't at the session 0, I was like, wow, we're trying to kind of create things that are similar, that are crossing over. And I was like, maybe we can use this and create these characters. And then we did. And just in that interaction, I got so excited because I didn't know. I think I played with you in one game before.
I think we'd played in
Roll for Shoes.
Just
right?
Roll for Shoes.
Yeah, so
much.
I didn't know him very well. I didn't know I was going to respond to me being like, hey, let's make these couple characters. What do you think? And he got so excited, and I got excited because he got excited, and it grew from that. And we really, that's one thing I really like playing with him, because I feel like we pick up what each other's putting down really well, and that was an example of that.
I feel like that's something that everyone.
I think
at the
we
table
all
does.
do. Yes,
Like I
we
really
do.
liked, like all of that it comes down to their ability to see the different threads that everyone else is laying out and being able to pick those up. Like I loved the scene between you two in episode 11 of this season when you got taken by the drums people and you left your Bible on the table, and Bogue was like, all right, the word's in that, I'm gonna go grab that so I have a gun. Like that was a cool, like unspoken thing, but you guys were both on the same page about it. It worked out really well. I just, all of those moments that you guys find to like silently communicate things to each other and just decide like, are we gonna play the hell out of this? Okay, cool, let's do it. Like that's a lot of fun.
And I will say that Jordan and I, and all of us really, have had conversations about sort of like, okay, I think we want our characters to go this direction. This seems to be happening with my character. How do you feel about this? So there's definitely elements of us talking about that, but beyond that, none of it was planned. We had no idea that was going to happen. And I will also say that sometimes it doesn't work out.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes the things we plan don't go that direction, and we're like,
They don't.
all right, this is how it is now.
Yeah, they don't. And also sometimes one of us will drop something and the other just doesn't get it. And that's true of the whole table. Like there are moments.
Can't all be winners.
No, and they aren't. But
miscommunication is like also a part of actually communicating.
It is, yeah.
Again, just
totally.
like Gabe and Bogue's frequent arguments about both of them making the same point and arguing about it. Like that stuff's fun.
And that just like got birthed out of like, I feel like that actually happening at one point, which was kind of cool to become a thing. Yeah.
Another question from Average Human. For this season, what does each player feel was a defining moment for their character, and which was actually their favorite moment? So let's just say, we talked about favorite moments a lot, but what was a defining moment for your character this season? If it was different than your favorite moment. And if it is also your favorite moment, pick another defining moment.
Okay.
What was a defining moment for your character this season?
Well, I think I said this before. The murder was was the turning point for Bogue. That's when he realized he had pushed people too far in a direction he did not want them to go, especially Rose. So that was probably his defining moment. But
that was also Rose's defining moment.
Yeah.
I think of this season. Yeah, was that was the. I didn't, like I said, in my mind I knew Rose was going to go too far this season. I just didn't know how, and that opportunity was there. And yeah, that was a intense thing for her, and I loved that her and James got to share that. I really liked that.
I don't know if I have a defining moment, but I think one moment that was definitely somewhat defining is in the finale. And I remember having to like work through this decision as a player when the Wraith blew things up and Rose ported us out of the place. Like having to decide to stick with Rose when like all the shit was going down and being like, no, this is important. I cannot leave her here. I cannot leave her in some stranger's room. You know, I think that was a pretty important defining moment for Gabe, despite what I think because I think that he's decided that the fight to do what the shamans and stuff told us about is important to him, and he's realized that like combating chaos is the greater goal in all of it. I think that was kind of a moment where he was like, nope, gotta keep my priorities straight, gotta stick by Rose in this.
Sure.
Yeah,
that was a good moment.
Howells, I already mentioned about him meeting Ludi, but I think and maybe an even greater defining moment was actually the first episode the train job. So another thing about talking about us planning things is that we didn't know we were all going to be on that train. We all knew we were going to be like. He told me and Jordan that we were starting on a train because I was going to a fight. And then he told them separately they were going to be on the train. We did not know when it started.
For different reasons, yeah.
We did not know we were going to be on that train together.
And I actually never said the word train to anyone but me.
Yeah,
James.
you said transport to me.
I said transport to everyone else.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
So when it started with James on there, we were like, what? And then eventually we met each other. But the defining moment is when we all finally met up and we were just like talking outside of the train in that very narrow ledge that probably doesn't fit 4 people, Pergola mentioned. And Howell, at this point, after everything that happened in Coldwater Creek, he was like, no. Like when I hang out with you people, bad things happen. I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
I was on this train.
Yeah.
I'm a fighter. To go on this train, you guys do whatever you want.
Yelling outside the train.
I'm not going to be a part of this. And you guys left, started going up the ladder, and he sat back down. He was like, no, I'm not doing it. And then after a while, he's like pacing. He's like,
oh, that's right. And then I got to talk to you as the ferret, basically, and keep needling
started
you.
taunting me, and then he's like, and then he finally went outside when he heard that gunshot and started beelining to help them because he knew something was going down.
Yeah, that was great. And I remember you afterwards being like, hey, I hope you guys didn't mind that I decided not to go with you. And we're like, no, it was a great character moment.
Yeah.
Well, that's something too that we sort of had talked about because that's something in playing a game that you're like, I mean, a character can go like, no, I don't want to do that. And that can kind of be like a dick move as a player.
Right.
But that's something we discussed in this game in which we are very character and story focused and going, no, let's stick to our characters because we can do that. Like we can play with that. And I loved actually that you made that decision because that was sort of one of the first opportunities we had to play with that.
Yes,
And I liked that.
It's all about the trust that you have in your other cast members, essentially. And like I had to trust then that there would be an opportunity for me to get back in the action.
Yeah.
And there was, and it was great. It was a great moment. So.
Yeah, that was cool. All right, last question that was sent ahead of time before we jump into the chat submitted questions.
Got plenty of those.
In a lightning round kind of situation.
Come on, we can go 6 hours.
This is from Average Human.
What? That's standard now, right?
6 hours.
Everybody does 6-hour shows.
And the question is, for the Marshal, what can you reveal about what's in store for the posse in the next season? Generic concepts are fine, so as to not spoil too much.
That is such a good last question.
Yeah, wow.
Like, did you plan that?
Human,
So
nice.
what can you reveal about what's in store for the posse in the next season? Generic concepts are fine, so as to not spoil too much. They will be in the Southwest.
Salsa's involved.
I like that question, Shimmickson.
And machines.
Oh my.
Machine.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. We're going after.
And that's all I'm going to say.
We're going
I
after the
hope we get to
surgeon.
meet, what's his name?
You guys are going after the surgeon. You're looking for Virgil
No, it's
Price.
fine. It doesn't bring
Who's
sure.
the crazy mechanical Edison of the time kind of guy?
Oh, Hellstrom?
Hellstrom.
Oh, you're not going after him.
I know, but
That's where Rose
I
was.
would
He's
love
in the
to
Republic
meet
of
Hellstrom
Deseret.
at some point. Because
Oh,
I
you
like
probably won't
Rose
meet
wants to go
Hellstrom
to
in this campaign.
Fair enough.
There's not.
I can change it.
There's not a lot of reason for your paths to cross. But
I can make their.
And in real life, you rarely meet people who are huge celebrities.
right. It's like, oh, I would love to meet the
But
president.
us, come on, we would.
So that is the answer to that one. They will be in the Southwest.
I met Bush
Machines.
and Obama, so
Fine. So let's jump into some lightning round chat questions.
I do remind if you still have one token.
Yes,
so
you do
whoever
still have
hasn't
one
asked
token.
one
I
yet.
just don't know what
I
to
did,
do.
and someone else did. I don't know who it was.
someone actually kind of
It
asked
was
my
you?
question.
Yeah.
Oh, they did.
So one.
What was your
more.
question?
Mine was like, when have we like gone off the rails most of what you expected?
Oh.
It was getting on the train. Is what your answer was, sort of.
Oh no, that wasn't when you guys went off the rails.
Oh, really?
Oh, you guys go off the rails so fucking often. Like you.
We're just not good on trains. You
like,
know that.
I'm so good now at going like, okay, I'm pretty sure they're all, like now, after as much experience as I've had, I'm like, okay, this situation, how is everyone gonna react? And I'm like, I can call it most of the time. But you guys individually are different than you guys as a group. You guys as a group will talk each other into doing the weirdest shit. And I'm like, what? Okay, cool. Yeah. But a fun part of that, a lot of random characters that I, like the slop bucket guy from, that was like, all right, I want to investigate the side alley. This guy's there.
You seemed surprised when we were like setting Howl up as
Stonewall.
the fake bear.
Oh, yeah.
Did you not think we were going to go that path?
I didn't know what you guys were going to do. I knew that was a potential. I knew
Sure.
it was a potential. But yeah, I didn't know. All right, so chat questions. Lightning round.
Let's do it.
All right, hold on. I'm
We
copying,
got plenty of time. We're good.
copying this last.
Unless you have a surprise for us at the end.
I don't.
Okay. Is that the surprise?
No.
Everybody,
Hogan.
salsa in the face.
Everyone rub this in your eyes.
No.
If we reach $200. Okay, Dr. Bo 42. I don't know if you're still here, James, but if you are, a question for everyone. What roleplay decision or lack thereof this season do you wish you played differently? I think we kind of answered
We kind of
that.
answered that. I think we answered that.
I think we did answer that.
Role play
Okay.
decision, yeah.
Vampire 54. So one question I did not get to submit is how has your character's worst nightmare changed or evolved? Just in case you did not copy this the first time. Oh,
Yeah.
I copied it.
And keeping them quick.
Yeah, it's not changed. I mean, like I said, yeah, I think that makes sense because she wants to. She likes her independence. That's really what that's about. She wants to have control over herself.
Also,
and that's a fearful thing.
Yeah, I don't know if everyone knows what everyone's worst nightmare
that's
is,
true.
so let's go over that real quick. Rose's is imprisonment.
His imprisonment.
James is dying in fire. Howells is having the life that he worked so hard to achieve being taken away from him, which happened
I
to him.
changed it. I changed it like the last time we got an advance. I don't remember exactly what I put, but it was basically failing before I defeat chaos or whatever to get back to my wife.
Okay.
Failing in that task. That's basically what it was.
And Gabe's. Gabe, do you remember what yours is?
Yeah, I was wondering if you remember.
I remember what it is because
Mine-
it's yours is being chased by a giant black bull that has been showing up in your dreams since you were a child, right?
Yes.
Really specific, yeah.
And the only time I brought that into play was the season 1 finale. You all woke up from nightmares of your worst fears.
I think that Gabe's thought, like, what that means to Gabe has evolved over time. And I think when he was a kid, it was just something that, like, came to him. You know, and as he's gotten older and he's conned people and he's wronged people, I think he sees it as sort of like everything catching up to him. Like that's what he sees that as. Is like no matter how far he goes, there's always this like black force that's moving towards him and is coming to finally like come at him. In his dreams, it's always a black bull that's like coming towards it.
The bull is his guilt.
Yes, the bull is his guilt. But I don't even know if it's his guilt as much as like there is always going to be hell to pay eventually.
Sure.
What vampire?
Has dying in fire changed or
I don't think so, really. The fire is definitely a symbol of things he cannot control. So
Sure.
Chaos is one of those things that he cannot control, and he's afraid of something he can't shoot. Basically, he can't get out of that way.
Well, get ready for season 4.
I know. You've been throwing so many things in front of me that he's like, yeah, you shoot him. Nothing happens.
You sure did shoot him. Anyways,
job.
hand in your card.
Vampire 54. I don't know who you're talking about, but I have definitely not read any Deadlands things. Who?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next question.
Firewolf 411. Have any of us seen the original Wild Wild West TV show series, and how much has that, if any, influenced the elements of the game?
I have not, so it
Seen
has
the
not.
original.
I have only
Seen the movie.
I only saw the movie one time.
I haven't seen the movie. I haven't seen any of it.
You haven't?
No.
I would be interested to go back and see it now.
It's not a great movie.
No, but it was fun. I remember enjoying it.
I like the
good.
ideas though.
Yeah.
I remember watching reruns every so often, but it never grabbed me the way that I wanted it to.
That
so.
show has definitely influenced the world of Deadlands.
Yes.
So in that respect, kind of by the transitive properties, it has affected our game. But I don't think directly any of us are directly influenced by it.
I mean, I've seen the Will Smith version.
Yeah, and we've all heard the song.
Yep.
Next.
Vampire 54. I leave this to choice. Would anyone choose to become Harrowed?
Ooh, if you got to choose to become Harrowed, would you guys choose?
Okay. We were talking
Context.
about this. We were talking about this the other day. So Herod's, basically Rose's profession would not work anymore if she was Herod.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Harrow's, I believe, I forget where they
No,
specifically
you cannot,
spell it out.
Your sexual organs do not work.
Do not function, both male and female.
Male
Oh,
and
that
female.
I thought you meant
No.
huckster wouldn't
No,
work.
that's not her profession.
Right.
I'm like, also, no one would want to sleep with a. Well, never mind.
Also,
Let's
you
not get into
smell
that.
like death, and you
Yes.
have to drink alcohol in order to pickle yourself to get the smell down.
So
Aren't there like different levels you can have?
just
No.
think about all the crazy
Just slightly pickled.
issues that would cause for Rose. Not only her job, but then there's this relationship with Gabe. Like, what the fuck would happen here?
Your death wound is always visible, so there are different degrees in that, depending on how you die. Like you guys have seen in Johnny Carrington and Colt Holbrook. Johnny just wears an eye patch, but Colt has to wear that bandana because otherwise his throat wound is open and half of his face is missing from the gunshot to the side of the face that he took.
It would probably be very interesting if Rose was heroine, but I would not choose it. For me personally,
You do get some pretty dope powers. though.
sure, but for me personally, is what I want to continue to develop with the character. It would go off a different direction. I think it would be interesting, but I would be frustrated. I think for now.
I could see Gabe going heroed. I don't imagine it would be something Gabe chose. I could see it just being like another thing that happens to him,
Sure.
sort of situation.
Sure.
We talked about this before. If I didn't get to kill the Baron,
I think of any of them, the one who makes the most sense to come back from the dead would be James Bogue.
Bogue's pure will of
Yeah.
vengeance would bring him back.
And I think a Manitou would love to pervert James Bogue's cause and toy with him.
God.
I think Hero James Bogue is the one that stands out the most
Yeah.
to me, is the one that makes sense.
Yeah, that would be so cool.
Peter Buxton, favorite Patreon NPC.
God, that's hard.
That is really hard.
What are the options?
We always
right.
talk about.
'Cause I mean, Claire was pretty
we
great.
can
That was
never,
a Patreon.
I really like Claire, but we always talk about the guy. We ran into him again.
With the eye.
Yes, Keith Gannis's Cletus Walker,
Yeah, we
Yeah,
always like
it's
Cletus.
subtle, but it's just like he just has
the
eyes
blackjack
that-
dealer.
Nerdlepedia!
Through you. Hey, thank you for the raid. Nerdlepedia.
Welcome, Nerdlepedians.
Nerdlepedians.
Okay.
Just the ambivalent dealer with the eyes that change colors and who can influence your mind.
influence you somehow.
I just
That's
love
Keith
that.
Gannis's.
fun.
Here are the ones that you guys have met so far. Don't look at this.
Okay.
The marvelous Miss Sally Trenton.
Loved her.
Clem Cleverson, that is the snake
Oh
guy.
man, how can we like Clem? He's such a jerk.
Barnabas S.B. Cairn, the itinerant Undertaker.
Clem's a villain now, right?
Clem
Yeah.
is a villain. He was always a villain.
Yeah. He was built. Well, Dom did that. James got rid of his boots, and then he became an NPC.
Right. Love it.
Barnabas S.B. Cairn, the Undertaker.
I love that name.
Wolf that leaps through fire.
Right.
Yeah.
Archie,
I shot Archie.
you did.
Shot at Archie.
Bandana Man, who has thus far only shown up in a prequel episode.
Yeah.
Cletus Walker, the blackjack dealer. Claire Walker, Baby Bogue.
Related.
Doc James V.
Yeah, Doc James V and the airship was pretty cool.
Star Lizard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Brumby Carter, the Pony Express rider.
Ooh.
And
He was
Brumby.
really
I love
cool.
Brumby. He's
and
great.
Addie Knickerbottoms, the boater.
Addie's really good too.
So all of them are their favorites.
Yeah, I don't know.
They are really good.
good.
I would say Addie's up there because
Because of boating.
hanging
boating,
tree.
and I think Addie's also just like a great character, like a young girl who's
She
like
is
an
fun.
entrepreneur. Also, thank you for the compliment on my mustache,
Let's look at
Bane.
Verbain.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can pick one. I don't know. They were great.
They're good. Yeah, you
They're
guys have given us a
killing me.
lot of really
Yeah.
fun ideas, and there are more to come. There's so many Patreon NPCs that I still have yet to introduce that
Yeah.
I'm hoping to bring in this next season.
I mean, that's the thing that I will say about Jordan. The one thing I'll say about him is that he brings in, if you have a Patreon NPC, he brings it in at the exact right moment. And it's like, there's times when you're like, I haven't had my NPC in yet. And I know that there are people that are waiting for their NPCs to come in. But it's like, trust me. When they come in, they're going to come in and they're going to have an impact. Every single Patreon NPC that we've had has come in and had an impact in the game.
Yeah, instead of it just being like, oh, we walk by this person,
It's
they
like-
say hello.
How you doing? It's like win a walk-on roll on Westworld, and it's just like, I think you can see me back there.
over there.
It's like, no, we're actually.
Yeah, but no, the Patreon NPCs have been such a huge influence. I mean,
Yeah, they're fun.
even what was Bogue's fake daughter's name?
Claire Walker.
Claire. That yeah.
Claire was great. Yeah.
Claire.
Yes, so if you are waiting for your NPC to show up, trust me, they are still coming. I'm just trying to find the best time to bring them in.
Bastion says, are there any skills, abilities you didn't get to use as much as you wanted or weren't successful with? And are there any skills, abilities that you think the characters would adopt or develop for next season with their struggles ahead?
Keeping it quick.
I wish I used intimidation more. Like, I know we've kind of set up that I'm an intimidating figure, but I wish that I could do that better. I'm much better at taunting people, but I wish I could intimidate. I had a more intimidating things to say to people and stuff like that, rather than just be an intimidating figure. And in terms of something that I would adopt or develop, I don't know. Anything that makes me shoot faster, better.
He's working
stronger.
on taking, like, getting up to improved hip shooting, which is unloading his gun with no penalty, and also quick and level-headed, which manipulates initiative. So James Bogue is very much heading towards being the fastest draw and the quickest shot. So, I mean, that's absolutely where the character seems to be going.
Basically every round, unloading 6 bullets into anything.
Pretty good.
I think Howl's actually pretty good on the stuff he did this past season, because I rebuilt him as a fighter, and he does so much good damage as a fighter.
Oh my god,
He's crazy good.
It's insane.
Moving forward, I'd probably want him to get Taunt, so that he can get a little more action on him to get them off of you, hopefully. So Taunt is probably where maybe he's looking forward to going.
Interesting. Rose?
I feel pretty good, honestly, about the things that she's done. Rose is interesting. She's kind of almost a dual character in the way that I built her. She's a knife fighter. I've really built her to be a knife fighter, and I actually use the powers a whole lot more than I do the knives. Although I'm trying to shift that, so maybe that I would like to use her knives a little bit more, get in there, and especially with the way Howl is now. Like if we teamed up, we can do some serious damage.
When you teleport us in that train car to fight those nose.
That was really cool.
That was fucking cool.
That was
Such
a cool scene.
Yeah,
when the first time you Shadow Walk into, or well, second time I guess, into the train car.
I really like the idea of using her powers as a secondary support to her knife fighting, and I would like to do that more and continue to build her that way. But yeah, I kind of go back and forth. So I don't know. I really like the way she's developed. I really like the things I can build in Savage Worlds. I feel very successful with that.
It's a good system.
Yeah.
I eventually got to do it, but for a long time I really was not upset, but just like frustrated that I never got a chance to cast Quickness and like get some actual practical use out of the blessed powers. And I think because the way we were trying to play it and the way I was trying to play it at first was almost that he was figuring it out, and it was almost an accident whenever he used blessed powers for a long time. And we kind of went that way, and then the Sisters of Eminence were sort of a turning point where he learned to like, oh, use this as an active thing you're doing. But I think eventually I got to use all the powers I wanted to do. That's why I took Holy Roller / Gambler as my first power, because in my mind it made sense as a power that was just like things either break your way or don't break your way because you appeal to God. Yeah. You know, and that's what I wanted to get out of that power. And I got to use it once, and I was happy about that.
Joel Acosta asks, how do you guys feel about going into the 4th season knowing that Resurrection is no longer available and that the other half of the medallion is still waiting in the wings? Well, we had no idea that Resurrection was available, so I go into season 4 the same way I would have done into any season.
Resurrection.
We did.
But how does it make you feel to know that it was on the table and is no longer on the table?
You know what it makes me feel? It makes me wish that one of us had died earlier.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Me too. Me too.
That would have been.
It is a little like that. Rose was brought back from unconsciousness. Is like, oh shit! I could have brought somebody back.
It could have been a really cool dramatic moment if like someone had just been shot through the head or something.
But it would have happened in largely the same way. Any theories on how that worked?
No, and you know, it'll come up. I'm sure.
Really?
Yeah. No, I think it'll be great. It is nerve-wracking.
I'm more excited for us to not have a safety net.
We didn't know we had it, so like Dom said.
But we did have the medallion. That was a
sure.
safety net.
Medallion and the tragic ally are gone now.
I think it will.
Yeah.
I'm glad we used it. I'm glad it's coming. It's going to come back to haunt us.
Yes, I'm excited to see how that comes back.
Yep. Mace, did the Phantom teleporting horse actually recognize the posse, or was his rider just off?
From Big Carter.
Oh, that is a good question.
So that is a Patreon NPC, and I was told that Phantom knew horse, and I decided that Brumby could speak to Phantom and understand him in that way.
Nice.
So I will say yes. All of that happened exactly as presented. That doesn't mean Brumby is not off.
What a good question.
Bastion says, will Gabe keep being Gabe? If not, do you have any ideas for his next persona or profession? And will their new hat? What will their new hat look like?
I've thought about this a lot, actually, and I've considered changing like Gabe, because Gabe has obviously gone through names in his past and like personalities, but I think that Gabe is kind of like where he's settled. I think that he's found more purpose in who he is now than he ever did in names he felt like he could throw off. And I think he always considered his identity to be something that was like, people will give you an identity so that they can fucking lock you down into things, you know? They can give you a name, like they can call you by that name and have a little bit of power over you. And I think that he always was like, fuck that, I'll just go by a different name.
Go by that name.
Gabriel Grier.
Gabriel Grier. No, but I think Gabriel has sort of I think Gabriel's a cool name.
It is.
Yeah.
And
Especially for Blessed.
Yeah, that's.
And I feel like if I came up with another name, it would have to be cooler. And that's hard.
You know, there was a song today on the Wildcards Spotify playlist that's called "Oh Gabriel," and
Really?
I was yeah, and I was like, "Was this written for?" It's like, "Oh God, you need to listen to it."
But I could see if you mean like if he is gonna stay Gabriel, like continue to still kind of like have his con man roots, absolutely. I think the more he goes forward, the more he's like learning to combine his con man background and that sort of mentality with him with the like blessed aspect of him.
All right. Next question.
Shimmickson. How does Bogue view relate to Rose? Does he see her as a little sister, a daughter, an impossible romantic connection, or something else? It just seems like there is a different affection there than with the rest of the party.
Oh no, Bogue's in love with Howl. That's pretty clear.
Yeah, I thought we established that pretty well. No, it's Gabe and Bogue now. Sorry.
Bogue can't be tied to. Bogue's like a river.
It's a wild
It's
stallion.
changing.
In the fan fiction, Bogue is shipped with everyone.
We've talked a little bit about this. Bogue definitely. It's hard not to be attracted to Rose. Rose was established as a very striking woman. But Bogue, I think, overall sees Rose as something of a little sister, someone that he is not necessarily. He knows that Rose can easily take care of herself, but he also worries about the powers that Rose commands and what she's able to do. And which
was a great moment on the raft when Rose first used the puppet power.
Yes, I loved that.
Just the way that James kind of reacted to her and just kind of like shut off from her, I thought was a really nice little moment that was great.
Yeah. So he just wants her to do right, and that's why it was such a big deal when we murdered that guy. It was a huge thing for us. Yeah. So that's kind of how I don't know how.
Yeah, I think it's kind of an interesting dynamic. I think that if there is like a romantic thing between Bogue and Rose, Rose is kind of the way she sees him. She clearly sees that kind of stuff from people. I mean, that's her profession. She's very good at that. But she doesn't see that here. That's not how she thinks of Bogue. Whether or not it's there is a different thing. But she doesn't register it that way because she just, I don't know. I think in some ways she looks up to him, and then also in some ways she doesn't look down on him, but she just kind of like, I don't know. She sees through him. She likes to try to pull things out of him. That's sort of her thing, and she knows she can get to him. I mean, that's something that she does in general, but with James Bogue, that's a difficult thing, and she can sort of see that. And I think she has a lot of respect for him, sort of like what I said before, just as far as he has a very specific goal in mind, and that makes sense to her. She sees him as somebody who's getting shit done and does it well. and she very much respects that and aspires to that in a way that maybe a little sister would look up to a big brother. But I don't think she necessarily directly sees it that way. But there is definitely an element of playing with a romantic. Is it there? Is it not? I don't know. So I think you'll have to keep watching to see if there's more to that or not.
Yeah, I think Shimmickson and BSBK raised good points in chat there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is there another one?
Yep. Vampire 54. Marshall, you plan on using any of the books or plot points into this campaign?
No, not in this campaign. It was my challenge to myself. Every other game I have run before this point, I have run using pre-written adventures and kind of making them my own. This was my challenge to kind of create something whole cloth. And it is my intention to see that through to completion. Obviously, I'm pulling in, like I did the Night Train module, I pulled in little scenarios and Savage Tales from some of the campaign books. Every now and then, but largely this has been my own creation, and I'm trying as hard as I can to keep that going. But I would like to try and play with some of the plot points in the future.
Innocent Browncoat for Jordan CC. Do you see chaos as Cthulhu-like, not really destroyable, just able to be slowed or contained?
That's an interesting question. The Reckoners are kind of... Yeah, in a lot of ways, the Reckoners have a lot in common with the old gods. Like they're bigger than their ideas, you know. Like they're concepts, and they're hard to destroy. I have a loose kind of idea of what can be done to defeat chaos, but the posse's going to have to find Virgil Price before they can even start walking that road.
Mm-hmm. John Monkey 46 says, "Do you guys burn up in your costumes?"
Yes. In fact, if you go back and watch some of our season 2 episodes, we forgot to turn the mics off after we turned the cameras off, and you can hear us say, "Oh my God, it's hot!
It is hot."
Which now every time we turn the cameras off, we just say anyway because of that.
It's a running joke that whenever we finish the show, the first thing we say is, "It is hot as balls."
Eric,
Eric, thank you.
Welcome to Patreon. It looks like we have one more Patreon NPC.
Let's see how that goes.
We got it in.
But yes, we all burn, and I am probably the least costumed of all of them, and I am also very hot.
I probably have the least amount of clothes on though, but I still get really fucking hot.
It's
so
hot.
I don't know about you guys with your coats and shit.
Clothes are hot.
I remember at the beginning of this season, when like I adopted the jacket and stuff, people were like, "Well, you probably don't want to wear that for the show. Like, that's gonna be really hot." And it's like, nah, it's gonna be fucking worth it.
We did a lot of that shit because we were like, "Oh, let's get photos taken." And so we kind of upped our costume game for the photos, and it was like, "Yeah, but we won't wear this while we play the game." And we were like, fuck that, we're gonna wear it."
We have to.
75% of my costume was bought with the intention of bringing it back after the photo
That's
shoot.
very true.
And here we are. Those fucking hair extensions I wear every time.
Is there another one?
Dom and I have real Stetsons.
Yes, yes, we do.
One coin left, guys. A yes, no question.
I don't know.
Well, then, if they don't have a question, does Chad have a question?
Yeah, a yes or
You would
no.
like me to answer yes or no, completely truthfully.
Completely truthfully. Doesn't have to be about Deadlands or Wildcards, just
Yeah.
about his personal life.
Parent cop.
Can even be about Savage
Tom
Worlds. I
Lawler's
don't
the
know.
only one who says your name right. I'm sorry.
Do I think that Savage Worlds is a really good system? Yes.
Fashion film.
Well, put it back.
We're glad that the
Fashion.
costumes help bring you in.
That like, oh my god, I love that so much because that's something that sometimes people are kind of like, why the fuck are you guys wearing costumes? And it makes such a big difference to me even at the table. Even with this, like all this stuff, it's like, here we are, wild cards.
I feel more into it.
I do too.
Absolutely.
It's just
even
like
this like
acting.
lighting. Like look at this. This is great.
I know, but like in acting, it's the same thing. Whenever you get into the costume is when the character really starts to settle in and make sense, and it's the same thing here. It makes a huge fucking difference to me.
And it's also like, you get to, like, I think all our costumes turned out pretty damn well.
Right? It's so much fun.
And it's like, you get to just feel cool wearing your costume.
I do enjoy.
You guys have helped us do a lot of this stuff to help us, you know, get cool little firelights and backdrops and things like that. That's, you know, I mean, we talk about you guys keeping the lights on, and that's very real stuff, but also it helps us up our game doing these types of things.
Yeah.
So,
It does.
We wouldn't
thank
be
you.
able to rent this studio or have any of this if not for you guys. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Can I say, Siamath Pirnkath? Sorry. Yes, tongue twisters. I like those. Those are fun. And German ones would be interesting. I tried to learn German for about 3 months.
No, because I'm the one that has to read those first.
I would totally. I'm going to learn German
she's
one
so
of these
excited.
days. I will do it.
My favorite tongue twisters are Irish wristwatch
That's a good one.
That's a,
and toy boat 3 times.
There was another
Unique
question.
New York
There
is
was another
also-
question.
oh,
So BSB Care asked if you guys could play any other one of the characters at the table, who would you want to play?
Freaky Friday!
Yeah.
Oh man, I honestly think it'd be interesting to play Gabe, just to play like the other side of this duo. I think would be
I
interesting.
want to play Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to play Rose.
Yeah, I'd
She's
play.
like the best.
I'd play either Rose or Gabe, I think. But yeah, Rose, I think that the huckster thing is cool. Yeah.
I would probably play. So, Hal is the one who's the most like opposite of Gabe in mentality, and I think that would be really fun to play.
I mean, he's kind of like Helm is like an extreme version of Hal almost.
Sure, yeah, and that's part of why it's so fun.
Yeah.
To,
You have
like,
so much
play
fun
those
playing
characters.
Yeah.
But I guess if I had to pick one, it would probably be Bogue, because I love that like dark, cool gunslinger
Yeah.
thing, and it's just like I want to be that.
Firewolf, where did I get the vape pipe? eBay.
eBay.
It's a model 618, I think, vape pipe.
Dichten dicht.
Don't even try. Also, I think the fact that you're all in costumes helps you guys
gonna
think
try.
more like those
Definitely
characters.
does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Would oh yeah,
Yes,
the
it
mind
does.
swap would make another good one shot.
It
Yeah,
helps
like-
me think of them as their characters too, and even my little weird mustaches on a stick and
so great.
my wigs and stuff. They help me kind of
Yeah.
more easily differentiate between the different NPCs.
You think
It's-
they look goofy, but they help so much.
It is really insane how much we're able to be like, we just buy it and it works. It really does. It really does make a difference. It's great. I enjoy
Yeah.
that.
You know what's funny? When I think back to scenes in like the past, like the costumes are more elaborate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like my mental image of how things were, it's like I see the scene as it was presented, not us sitting around
At the
the
table.
table
Yeah.
doing this
In your
stuff.
mind's eye. Yeah.
Isn't that cool? That's so cool.
No, I'm done buying wigs for a little bit. I have
Yes,
so many
Bob.
wigs.
I have more wigs. I won't let him use my wig.
I do always enjoy
use them for work.
getting more little fun costume pieces. I very much enjoyed getting to use the Wraith's glasses.
Those are mine. I let him use them.
I lent him a top hat for the Wraith,
That's true. That's true.
which I bought for Megan's Mysterium game.
Look at that.
Which character would kill which character if need be?
Oh, Bogue would kill everyone if he needed to.
If he needed to. I believe that entirely.
Rose would kill. Rose would kill Hal and James if she had to,
Yeah,
especially for
Whoa,
Gabriel.
Gabe,
come on.
She would for Gabe. If it's for
Gabe-
Gabriel, she would.
Gabe would kill Hal and James if he had to.
What the
for
fuck? I would kill nobody.
How's
a sweet boy.
Such a
howlest
I would
answer.
never do that.
What?
He's a sweet boy.
Was Megan? No, that's my fucking hat too. Abby's hat is my hat.
Megan was an only child, in case that's not clear. So even the fact that she uses a lot of my stuff and I don't point that out to everybody all the time.
Wait. What stuff of yours do I use?
Like my books and stuff.
Oh,
I can get my own fucking books if you don't want me to use.
he's a librarian.
I'm
okay?
saying I don't care. I'm happy to share those with you.
it-
I don't hold it over your head.
It's kind of a joke, but it is true.
It is true.
He
She's very
having
protective of
two
her stuff.
siblings, and me being an only child with a single mom my whole life. I didn't have anybody to compete with. So
Yes, and on that note, I think we're winding down at this point. I
we?
think we've hit a
feel like
bunch
we're
of-
ramping up.
No.
I feel like there's one thing we did not do that we were talking about doing on stream.
What's that?
Which is
Oh,
coming
the
up with
mystery
things
box?
for the
Mystery box,
Do you
yeah.
want us to do that, or
Do you guys want to? What do you think, Dom?
If we can do it quickly.
Real quick, let's
I'm fine.
get some ideas flowing. What do you guys want in the mystery box? So I will say there's already going to be a bunch of things added that that all of
Oh,
our
yeah, you
Discord
guys came up with
users
stuff.
came up
Can
with.
they still do that?
Yeah, they still can. If
Yeah.
you guys have ideas for things to go in the mystery box, you
don't know,
can private
see
message
math.
me on Discord, just so these guys don't see.
Yeah, hop on our Discord.
I've gotten a lot of good suggestions from people, but you can definitely do that.
And we've got a
I'm
great community
excited.
on there also.
Yeah.
Oh my
please
god,
join up.
you guys on the Wildcards Discord are amazing.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
It's like
Historian of Nukes
I
and
get so
Gunslinger
excited.
Andy and Double Up Omega now play in a Savage World in a Deadlands Reloaded game.
Yeah.
Is a goddamn dream.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
We love it.
You don't realize how much it's like. I hear the little notification in my Discord. I'm like, you guys are like, it's snowing. I don't know. I just enjoy it. I enjoy it.
What do you guys want in the box?
Oh man.
So I think it should be something that helps all of us, not just one person.
Sure. Yeah.
So something
Or
that-
something negative.
Put that in there.
You would say that, wouldn't you? Yeah. Sorry.
I actually kind of like that.
Yeah.
I'd be into that. But no, we should.
You want something negative? You want to put something negative in there?
That is
I
that.
kind of do.
This is such a Jordan
No,
Bridgen thing
we
to say.
should help. We should make it helpful.
You guys should put something helpful in there.
I think Discord's come with
I'm like,
enough.
all right, what about one automatic wound for all of us?
you!
One unsoakable wound for everyone.
Fuck you.
Something that helps each of us.
Oh God.
We're not gonna kill him. He's safe.
It's hypothetical.
Everybody said they would
had to kill
Hal.
him.
That's the common denominator.
It's just that we're willing to kill Hal.
Actually, there's
There's
one thing that I didn't that got unlocked at it was the top reward tier at the season finale that I didn't talk about on stream.
Oh.
Because everything went so crazy. But chat unlocked relics of the Weird West. So next season I will be introducing magical items into the game. Oh, don't get too excited.
Oh fuck.
Because there is almost no relic in Deadlands that does not come with a gigantic drawback.
That's cool though. I love that.
Oh,
I'd much rather have some.
everything is like cursed Spanish gold to the 9.
Love it.
Like,
I love it.
That's mad science.
and that's true.
basically,
Bad guys
too.
can use magic items too.
True.
One thing I like about Savage Worlds, but Deadlands specifically, is that everything has a weakness. Everything has a downside to it. There's very rarely anything you can't build a character without taking a hindrance. You know, you can't do any of these things that make you the super powered, characters that you get in other systems.
Even
and
you
stuff.
focusing in as heavily as you have on being an awesome range
It's
attacker,
taken-
if someone closes to melee with you, you're kind of like, well,
Yeah.
Hope I don't die.
Yeah.
Because they punch me in the nose and it jams my fucking nose bone into my brain. Like Savage Worlds is, you can die in regular life.
Or literally, yeah.
Oh, that's cool, Bastion.
Narrative additions to the box are trickier because I can build narrative reward tiers because I can plan out potential moments that those could come into play if they get unlocked. If I'm drawing them out of a box and I have to be like, all right, I know you guys are in the sewers, but someone's following you, that's a bit harder for me.
Yeah.
So narrative additions have to be real specific or super generic in order to be added to the box.
What if we each, this might be too much, but what if we each got a draw, but if we already have a draw, the new draw replaces it no matter what? So it could be, we have something really good.
Okay, wait.
But it
How
gets
about
replaced.
instead of being able to replace a draw, we can replace a combat draw? So like we if we have the thing in the box, someone in the group can say, okay, I'd like to use a redraw
Oh, for your
during
initiative
combat
card?
for initiative cards.
Actually,
That's
wait.
good.
So actually, wait. This might not work because usually mystery box happen near the end of the episode. So
we could
the
go
draws
with the-
go away though. So that's
No, the draws persist into the next episode. If they don't get unlocked in the episode in which they were drawn,
Yes.
they'll persist into the next one before
then
they
you-
vanish.
Well, then
But-
that's not bad. Huh?
I guess
Yeah.
I would see it as not like, oh, you get to keep doing it until you get an 8 or something. It's just like, oh, I got a 2. I would like to use a redraw. Like we get it
Or-
as a one-time thing for the next combat.
so
or
an initiative
like-
redraw?
Yeah,
Yeah.
initiative redraw, or it could be something that we know is on the table, or it could be something you've got a lot that like. What is the word I'm looking for? Just happen when the thing
are
is
triggered.
Triggered, yeah. It could be triggered like somebody gets a 2, so it's triggered.
It's an interesting one. A monster disappears but reappears at a later point stronger.
Oh, that was a
What if we have no combat though?
What's
that's
that?
a very
have no
Deadlands
combat?
thing.
Well, so that's the thing. If
That'd be a
there's no
secret.
combat in that session, then I know that card's been drawn, so I can plan for a combat in the next session.
Right, but then you would also plan around the disappearing monster though. You know?
No.
We yes, be
I mean,
careful.
why wouldn't you then?
He did mean adventure deck originally, but then we
Yeah,
switched
that's
it
what I
to-
meant. Yes.
Yeah, he did. But we switched
Do you
it to
guys like
adventure.
the initiative manipulations?
Yeah, I think that's.
I mean-
that's
I mean, I already have an
He already
initiative
has it.
manipulation.
You
in a
have
way.
quick.
Yeah.
But
So
that
it'd be like everybody having
you
to-
could still get a 6.
True. But in like that instance, if say he got a 6 and he wanted to use it, then if he got a 2, would he have to keep that, or could he still use his quick to get?
I'd say you could still use his quick.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that essentially gives everybody the opportunity to have one chance. Like for everybody else, though, it would be like.
It also gives you guys a further chance to draw a joker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would it be like if, say, Howell got a 2 and he was like, I'm going to use a redraw, and then he got a 3? It's not like, or he got, no, say he had a 3 and he got a 2.
What about a mystery box card that allows you to turn your initiative card into a joker?
That's exactly what I was thinking. But
That is super powerful.
well, just one though. We decide when one of us gets to use that. Not all of us get one. So it's like it's a
Right.
permanent joker on the table. We get to decide at one point.
I mean, that's awesome, but that seems huge.
What about an initiative card, or what about a mystery box card that you don't know whether or not it's going to turn your card into a joker,
or a 2? I like that better.
Yeah, that's it.
But would I get? If it became a 2, would I get to?
No,
quick.
You would have to if you
Oh, dog
played
leg.
that card and it became a 2, you would get. So what about a card that is on the table and it's a roll of the dice whether it turns your card into a joker or it turns your card into a 2?
Like an
say-
odds or evens kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I say it should be face
Yes.
down on the table at
Yes.
all times until we decide to flip it. Like,
Oh well, it would
it's
be
predetermined?
Then
No,
I'd have to
no,
put
he-
2 cards in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I would say
That's true.
it would be something where we flip a coin or roll a die,
which
Okay.
it
and
is,
it either turns into a joker or a 2.
We have 2-sided die. We'll just use those.
That's true.
Where else are we going to use those?
Are you guys cool with that?
It's a piece of
I'm
cake.
cool
I like
with
that.
I
You
like
like that?
Great.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's going in the box. Yeah! It is decided. Thank you guys for unlocking that tonight.
Yeah!
Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for all of your
Yeah,
questions.
oh
You
my
guys
God.
asked some
this is
amazing
so much
questions.
fun.
I really enjoy it's funny because it's fun to talk about this stuff and you think everyone else is just going to be bored by it, so it's really cool that you guys are here.
I'm a little surprised that we went the full session length with this.
Really?
Yeah,
I am
uh,
not surprised at all.
Great.
yeah, not at all.
And also, we do have this last yes or no question, and there were some suggestions in the chat to turn it into something else. So I will think about it. It was unlocked, and I will think about turning it into something that
a
they'll
second
be able
legend
to
ship.
use.
No big deal.
Someone did mention that.
But you guys, I like VSB Care's question here. Did you think that the chat would have all these questions?
No, I'm constantly surprised that that anyone is as invested in this as you guys are. It's
Yeah.
beyond gratifying that you guys find this interesting.
Yeah.
Because we put a lot of work into this, and I kind of talk about this sometimes. This is largely the amount of work that I would put into a home game anyways. This is just how I run home games. I don't have reward tiers that are unlockable for people.
That would be weird.
Give me money, guys. And then,
Okay.
What, you're going to kill us all? But I just gave you $100.
but that's how I run games at home largely. So the fact that
attest
you
to
guys are enjoying this, that you're showing up every week, that you're excited in the same way that we're excited is super cool.
It's kind of unbelievable, to be entirely honest. It's amazing.
If I were to tell late middle school or early high school self who was super into Dungeons and Dragons, I was like, no, you still do that online and people watch and they like it. I would be like, all right, fuck, you succeeded.
You've done it.
Well, I guess I don't need to go to college now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you like this, Tuesday at 2 o'clock, there'll be a special disorganized play where everyone except for Porgarov here, who has a day job, will be talking about Iron Keep, the last season of Iron Keep.
Yeah, they just concluded their season on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So Megan, Havana, and Eric will join Tom and myself to chat about the previous season. So if you like this, I hope you tune in for that.
And Sunday is going to be the final part of the Toy Story Tempting Fate trilogy. So it'll be their Toy Story 3, 5 p.m. Pacific time on Sunday. It's going to be a fun
It's the
group.
saddest one.
Yeah, but will it be
all
the
kinda
saddest
sad.
one of the Tempting Fates? I don't know. You'll have to tune in and find out.
Yeah.
And then on Monday will be the next episode of Legacy. This will be the second episode of Stephen Pope's new show, City
I'm
of
in that.
Mist.
Very fun.
Yeah. So tune in for that.
Gods
8 p.m.
and
on Monday.
noir, and it's sort of like a superhero slash mythological characters slash noir like sort of combo, and I really love the group that's going on there. And I've worked with Stephen before on Masks and really enjoyed it, so I'm excited to get this campaign going.
And then on Tuesday night will be the final episode of the Last VHS Store, run by GM Omar and Najan. Am I saying his last name right? Yeah.
You playing that?
And I will be playing in that. That's a fun group as well. That'll be the finale of that.
Incidentally, he like totally looks like he did in college. it's weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, it's college Jordan.
I was trying to figure out what to put together for an outfit for like something my character would wear in 1998, and I was like, oh, it's like how I normally dress, just a little bit more. I was like, okay, cool, got it. I am stuck in the past. But yeah, and then we have more awesome stuff in store. So be sure to check out our socials for Saving Throw and see all of the stuff that we have coming up. We are constantly working on having new, fun, entertaining, surprising things for you guys, and we hope you enjoy it. Also, Wildcards will be returning for Season 4 on Friday, May the 11th. So mark your calendars.
I don't know. I think something's happening that
Not
day.
important.
Wildcards.
It's not an important.
It's a wild card day.
Yeah.
Just wild.
Or I'll be turning 29 that day. It'll be my birthday, and I'm gonna make a big fucking deal out of it.
So
His birthday's before that, though.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, but
So-
we've got a whole thing for his birthday.
it's time. It's time for me to start working again.
Oh,
And yes, we do have a marathon coming up. We will be doing Longest Day Marathon next, benefiting the Alzheimer's Association, and that'll be happening in June.
June 16th, I think.
June 16th, I think, is when it's scheduled for. So we will
Yeah.
be getting that together and getting all of that set up. So always hang out, always check back in. Like I said, we've always got new stuff in the works. But thank you guys again. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you.
You guys
Thanks,
are amazing.
everybody. Also, Farquaad's birthday, apparently.
Yay! Oh, the 11th is?
The
I
11th?
guess, yeah.
Is it
We're doing
today?
it for your birthday.
Whether it's today or it's the 11th, happy birthday, Farquaad.
Yeah.
We love you.
Yeah. Follow our Twitter accounts too, because we'll probably be doing some in between seasons.
Probably be doing some lead up stuff. So at wildcards_GM, at wildcards_Dom, at wildcards_GXG, at wildcards_Meg, at wildcards_JP. But if you follow just one of them, follow at wildcards_GM because I compile everything into moments.
And also hashtag wildcardsRPG. Did you already say that?
It's a great way to follow us.
Yeah, we tried to post everything under that so that you can keep track of it in one hashtag, and that's true on Instagram and Facebook. If you.
So thank you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the
Yes,
questions.
thank you.
We'll see you next season, and we'll leave you with some finger guns.